That feels a little better. Well,
Well, hello
hello.
and good evening.
How we doing?
It's a Friday
Oh, it is.
on a Monday.
Yeah,
Friday on a Monday.
Yeah.
I kind of like that.
I know. When I left the house, my wife was kind of like,
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I had
she
to
wasn't
kiss
mad.
ass.
I was just,
Yeah,
I ordered him pizza and I took off.
yeah, my wife wasn't mad either, but you could tell she was not thrilled. I was
Yeah.
like, but
You're going to
babe,
go enjoy yourself?
I hung out with you on Friday. I like totally had to sell it.
Yeah. Luckily mine, she's just probably like, sweet, I can watch Zeus Network for 3 hours. I'm like, yeah, go ahead. Watch it all while I'm not home,
I don't
please.
even know what Zeus Network is.
It's entertainment, that's for sure.
Is it Zeus like Zoos?
No.
Or like Zeus like the god?
Like the God, I believe. I think I'm trying to think of the name of the shows because there's the one that was out. It was like Baddies or something, and it's only airs on the Zeus Network. And then there's like a stripper one where a bunch of strippers try out, and the main one that's choosing them is some Puerto Rican stripper who has an album, so they all dance to her music the whole episode, like the whole season, every time they're stripping.
Huh. Well, that's cool. It looks like there's a bunch of like new social medias and stuff like forming and coming out.
Yeah, I think it's a new network. I'm definitely not an expert on it, but I see it on my TV quite often.
Yeah, I'm really trying to get the social media thing under control. And now there's so many, and I'm sick of Facebook and Instagram.
Well, they're horrible.
Parler is just stupid.
Yeah, I haven't really messed with Parler too much.
I try. I get the emails and I log on, but it's not that great. And nobody you know or care to know or want to know is on it. So it just is. It's like you got these news anchors and politicians and like,
Yeah, that's like when I get on Twitter.
Guys.
Yeah, I see like just nothing. I go to the trending because I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Where do you go on Twitter?
Fuck, I'm not even subscribed to Twitter.
Only reason I have Twitter was in the middle of all the riots and stuff that were happening. There was a lot of live feeds on Twitter in the middle of the street. Like that Kyle Rittenhouse was like, a lot of people watched half of that live because people were streaming all that.
That's crazy.
And the news wasn't on it, like kind of like COVID stuff.
Yeah.
You're not necessarily getting all that info.
Yeah, and when it's live, it's less censored.
Definitely.
Right.
At least you got to see like, oh shit. And then, you can hear all the talking heads say whatever the hell they're going to, spin it to.
Yeah.
And they did. I mean, look what happened with him.
Mm-hmm.
They made him seem like some, white supremacist, neo-Nazi kid who went across state lines with a weapon and all this. And it turns out he actually did. He's like a cadet type of kid, wasn't it?
Yeah. I don't know the whole story. I know I was like, first of all, what the hell was up with his parents that let the 17-year-old kid go? And he like knew the laws. He was above board on everything that he did. So, good for him on that. But like your parents are supposed to be like, no, that doesn't sound like a good idea.
That's true. But at 17, I don't know. It sounded like he was doing some kind of training with some sort of either, junior army or law enforcement or something is what it was.
Gotcha.
That's why he felt like he wanted to go over
like
there.
ROTC or something like that.
I can't remember. I'm sure we could look it up. But
yeah, I guess we could.
It's
not that important.
Well, it isn't. And that's why I think it's so funny that they put him on TV and aired that whole trial out, but we still don't know shit about Epstein's list, right? But you've got Johnny Depp's trial. It's like distractions.
That's what it is. Yeah. I mean, we're meant to be distracted from what is going on or what we should be focusing on. And I'm the type of person that makes me go, maybe what they want me to focus on, I'm going to not focus on so much.
Yeah, like a magic trick. Like, look at this hand.
Yeah, that's what
hand.
Exactly, because that's what they're going to do to you always. It's like a slight in boxing, right? They're going to give you a slight jab and then hit you with the cross or a hook, and it's going to knock you out quick.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy. I know I sent you that Andrew Tate video earlier.
Oh, bro, I watched a lot of that today, and that's crazy. A lot of the stuff going on.
I didn't even know as much about him until I'd watched a lot of that, because most of what you see nowadays is like YouTube shorts or TikTok videos that are.
Yeah, and he doesn't even have a TikTok.
Yes.
All the shorts are made, they're, people pulling snippets off, and he's viral on TikTok, which is cool, and he doesn't even have a TikTok.
He doesn't even have one. He was like, yeah, I'm sorry for that 15-year-old kid that probably got his TikTok deleted.
I thought that was funny as shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, that kid, I mean, and he hasn't monetized any social medias either.
No, but I think it's because he was demonetized like from the gate.
From the beginning.
Yeah, it's kind of, I think,
that makes sense.
Probably like we're going to be.
Yeah. Well, and the good thing is we're not looking for monetization.
No.
We're just trying to, this is for us to have a good time and maybe find some like-minded individuals in the process.
Yeah.
And piss off and ostracize as many people as we can too,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Well, I usually only do this kind of talking in my kitchen as my friends come over. You know? And I'm in the middle of a podcast and I pin them down for an hour and teach them all about something real quick.
Yeah. You know what you don't know about.
Yeah.
You need to know everything.
Have you heard this?
Yeah. Well, and that's the great thing. This is, we come in, it's unscripted, unedited. We don't know what we're going to talk about, what we're going to say, and it's probably going to get us in trouble. But at the end of the day, I think what's important right now, especially right now, is free speech.
Yeah.
Finding freedoms of speech and figuring out what platforms are going to allow freedoms of speech. And those are the ones that we as a whole need to get behind. Andrew Tate, he's a phenomenon. Like, if you just watch this whole process happening, and he's young, he's 35, he's our age, right?
Yeah.
And all of a sudden now he's getting blacklisted by every single social media all at once. Like, what a choreographed effort too that had to be, right?
Yeah. Well, and we knew they could do it, but they kind of acted like they couldn't.
That's like CIA status, right?
Yeah.
All of a sudden they just flipped the switch on Andrew Tate, and he was scrubbed just completely.
Yeah.
And that's scary to see how easy that is. But what he's got going for him is he's got the backing of everybody else's audience. He's a smart guy. He already knows. He's, the chess playing thing comes into play a lot. And he's like, well, okay, I've already got my own outlets. I've got all these homies that are going to let me on their outlets. You shut me off, but I don't need you,
Right.
And which brings me back full circle is, we only need the people that want to hear this. Everybody else can go suck a dick, and that always sounds weird coming out of my mouth because I'm a nice guy. If Chad were to say it, it would sound a lot cooler.
Suck our dicks if you don't like it.
But shit, fuck it. This is we could be the next Andrew Tates, and I think more people need to fucking buck up a little bit and
That's true.
Be the man.
Up.
Yeah.
Speak up if you feel strongly about something. Say something. Don't hide at home. And if you just post it on social, probably no one's going to see it.
Right.
Depending on the subject.
Yeah, that'll get shadow banned.
Yeah.
We'll see, or your friends that are like-minded will probably see
Yeah.
it and give you a like, so you get that little endorphin fix real quick.
Right.
But otherwise, it's
you're like, yeah, I did something.
Yeah, no, that's not doing anything.
Yeah.
It's really not.
Well, and I've been guilty of it too, because it's a lot of times you don't want to. You kind of feel like you're putting a target on your back when you're going out into the public square. That is a kind of an artificially made public square of a bunch of people that all believe one way. Like Facebook is definitely,
Oh, it's totally one.
it's highly female, and it's
Yep.
highly, liberal, and it's
Also,
controlled and censored like China.
It is. Well, and we kind of talked about this with the Trump censorship stuff. It's like, I don't understand how you can censor one thing and not another.
Yeah.
And you can't pick and choose, and that's supposed to be the whole point about these freedoms of speeches, but it's not. That's not the case, and we were texted slightly about it today, but we do have freedom of speech right here. What we're doing in this room,
Yeah.
but not when you put it online.
Right. Is you cross onto that internet barrier,
Yeah.
and then now, I don't know, it's that Section 230 or whatever it is that gives them the protections of like a media company.
And it's like it's its own governing body now.
Right. It's like it's like Meta is like the new way you're gonna get on Facebook, I think.
Yeah, that
Right?
whole name change rubbed me the wrong way.
Yeah. It's everyone on Reddit. It's like, we're never calling it the Meta Quest. It's always gonna be the Quest.
It's so stupid. And I'm like, how do you get off? You've been Facebook for this long. You're like, we're gonna rebrand.
Yeah.
Like Zuckerberg, he's such an idiot anymore. You know, he's just like a puppet for whoever's really in control.
Yeah.
Because he just sits up there and.
He was on Rogan recently too. Did you see that one?
Yeah, I didn't get a chance to watch that one yet, but you sent me the link to it. It's on my to watch list.
Yeah, I mean, it's not super interesting because I really don't care about Zuckerberg too much.
Yeah, nobody does anymore.
You know, it's kind of like, I'm glad he was on there, but I feel like it was more for his benefit, probably.
I think it was. And I think it was, I don't know how Rogan, was Rogan nice? Did he rip him at all?
You know, like I wasn't one that I like was combed through and made sure I heard every step, but I'm sure he, you know, gave him some questions and stuff. But
yeah,
Zuckerberg's been before Congress multiple times. You know, they know how to talk and not talk.
Right. Well, and he was so evasive. A lot of the questions he answered.
Even on the podcast, you know, it's like he's capable of these long-winded responses, and sometimes you just kind of get caught up in like what the question. It's just like watching C-SPAN or something.
Exactly. You forget about the question through the answer. And
it's like a yes or no questions, and then it's like a 19-sentence answer.
Right.
And you're like,
that was
so was that a
answer?
Yeah.
It's going to take me a while to unravel that. Let's move on.
Like, your time has expired, you know.
Oh, Jesus. So what else is going on in the world today? I really just want to keep talking about Andrew Tate just because I was really absorbed in that today.
Man.
And I think that there's a lot of implications in what's happening with that scenario.
Well, and it's weird because, you know, I've only seen initially all his kind of chauvinistic type of shorts that they use, you know, and they take these long, you know, hour or, you know, 10-minute videos and they cut it down to 2 minutes and make it sound a certain kind of way.
Yeah. Like he doesn't like women.
Right. Well, like he'll say, instead of saying men are stronger than women, he'll say women are weak. Mm-hmm. And it means the same thing. Like, I think that's what he said on that podcast.
I think and what he said was women are physically weaker than men.
Right.
Which is, there's no way to say that that's not true.
Right.
Right. Like you can argue, and just like you said, you can argue there are some women that are super strong and are probably way stronger than me or you or whatever, right?
The outliers.
But as a man, if you put all the men together and all the women together in two separate categories and we all lifted weights, it's going to add up in one side's favor or the other. It's just the way it is, right?
Yeah. Well, and it's funny because I feel like he's like a very unpolished version of what Jordan Peterson kind of says.
Okay.
It's about taking responsibility, being a man. They both say about how the most dangerous thing is weak men.
Right.
You know, you want to be, what do they say? You know, a warrior in a garden, not a gardener in a war.
Right.
You know?
That's right. Well, and I think I've been saying it for a long time, watching my kids grow up, as you can see, like kids are getting softer. Yeah. And I know parents are getting softer. Like I look at a lot of parents my age and I'm just like, I don't understand how their kids are still alive and they're still functioning just by letting the kid rule the household and no consequences for actions. Yeah. And a lot of times, you know, it's terrible. And not saying that like you have to run your household, you know, like a neo-Nazi, but at a certain time, like your kid needs to know that there's consequences for their actions.
Yeah.
Or else they're not going to know that the fire's hot until they touch it when they're 19, and then it's going to be my fault for not teaching them that the fire was hot.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, then they get burned to death instead of just getting a blister.
Right. Or they burn down. They murder a bunch of people on accident because they have no idea how dangerous and volatile it is. And another thing he was saying was how, you know, or I think it might have been who was the interviewer?
Shoot, I don't know. And like, I know his face. I know the dude, but I don't know his name.
I could pull it up real quick. We might, just because for reference. But what he was saying was that there's a lot of mom parenting going on, right? How there's a lot of, it's okay, he had a bad week, right? You don't understand, you know. But there's no there's not the yin and the yang. It's just one. It's totally one-sided because the dad's supposed to be there. Somebody needs to be there, being like, hey, toughen up. You know, it's okay. Yes. I understand that he had a rough week. I know he had a rough week just as well as you know he had a rough week. However, the world doesn't give a fuck. There is no excuses for having a rough week. You're going to have to wake up and handle your shit. Pay your bills. You got to be a productive member of society, or you're going to be living in my garage or my basement for the rest of your life, which is fine. but I don't think that's.
I mean, it can't. It's not fine.
It's not. No, it's not. It's not fine. I'm not going to pretend like it's fine.
Don't feel bad.
Because it's not. And I would never let my son amount to something like that. Like I've already got a plan for him, unless he decides otherwise. You know what I mean?
Well, and you can line them up, and hopefully they're going to do what they want to do at the end of the day. So you can raise them with the right morals, right and wrong kind of thing. Our kids are a little bit different in age, so it's a little bit different, And who knows, in 10 years, when mine's 15, the whole culture will be that much different.
Yeah.
That much more pussified.
Yeah. 10 years, my son will be 21 and hopefully doing something with himself. You know, like.
Hopefully mine is just beast mode and all these pussy ass fools his age, because they're even weaker than they are right now.
Well, and at the end of the and women, ask yourselves, which man are you really going to go home with at the end of the day?
I love when he's talking about like Chris Brown, and he's like, Chris Brown comes out. Right. They're not like, oh, like he's
going to be so faithful.
Yeah. Like, no, they don't care. They all want to be in the back. You know? So let's just, let's live in reality.
Yeah. They understand what comes with the territory.
Right.
You know what I mean? And just like, our women understand what comes with the territory with being with us. I'm an alpha male for sure, especially under my roof. There's no question about that. Granted, I am diplomatic about the way I handle things sometimes, but there's no question about like who rules the roost. And I hope like someday my son just learns by example, but there's a lot less of that happening.
Well, it's because they want to eliminate the male role and female gender roles. Mm-hmm. They want to say that men aren't supposed to do this and women aren't supposed to do that. It's just whatever.
Right.
Well, that's cool. We're all equal until you have to dig an 80-foot electrical trench that way.
Or be on top of a skyscraper running beams.
Yeah, or down in New York in the tunnels,
fighting fires. You know, all these
cockroaches crawling all over you, and you're in sewer.
Yeah, being a pest guy.
Right.
Spraying for spiders.
And I don't even want to do half of that stuff.
Hell no. Hell no.
But that's what Jordan Peterson talks about. That's what he's taking a lot of heat, and it's weird. I've started to see these parallels, but Tate is kind of like the macho version, and Jordan Peterson's like I don't think you know a lot about him, but he's super popular, and he just, a lot of people know about him, but in like the intellectual dark web, as they call it, which is like Peterson, Brett Weinstein, whatever it is.
You got to be careful about the Steens.
Yeah,
now, right?
Stein. But I'm not intellectual. I wasn't someone that loved school and all that at the time, but now I love. All I want to do is absorb this type of stuff.
Well, there's a difference between school and learning.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, I think the older you get, the easier it is to understand that. And teaching yourself, because you figure out what you're passionate about. And once you figure out what you're passionate about and what path you want to go on, it's fun.
Right.
It's all part of the process.
Yeah. Well, and now, if you were 15 and you found something that you just loved, I don't think it would be that far out to just start doing that. Like, all the best teachers are on YouTube. There's no... outside of just the structure of school and all that, like you could basically know anything you want to know.
Yeah.
These kids already know things that even my 5-year-old comes out teaching me stuff that he just learned on YouTube.
Well, 50 years ago, people were able to become millionaires and not even making it through to the 9th grade. You know what I mean? 50, 60, 70 years ago. And I think about how terrible the education system was, a half a century ago.
Yeah.
And these guys had the wherewithal enough because they were probably farmer kids, knew how to work hard and apply that. And that's really the missing link. Like, if you want to become successful, you have to work hard. If you want to become fit, you have to work hard. If you want to be healthy, you have to work hard. Like it falls into place. Like that's the miracle about everything is, oh my gosh, all over they're overnight sensations. Well, no, we've been working at this for fucking decades.
Yeah. Well, it's like Jordan Peterson, I think, says, if you live a hard life, your life becomes easy. Mm-hmm. And if you live an easy life, your life becomes hard.
Yeah. Hard. What is it? A hard life builds strong people. Easy lives build weak men or something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
Or you have the, good times create strong men. Strong men
that's what it is. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one, I think.
Yeah, that's what I worry about, because I do spoil my son probably more than I should, just because, if you have it and it's, it's successful, it's, what I didn't have, and I want better for him. But we also make him work for that shit too. So, it's like that thing you have in the back of your head. You're always battling with yourself. Like, am I doing the right thing or am I not doing the right thing?
Right.
Am I fucking him up somehow?
Yeah, we're all fucking him up somehow.
Yeah, this is going to come back to bite me on the ass because he's going to, maybe he's not going to have the work ethic because he didn't quite struggle or see us struggle or, you know what it is.
Have you heard of that Dr. Gabor Mate? He's really interesting, dude. He was just on Rogan. It's funny. I feel like every time I talk about someone and then like 2 episodes later they're on Rogan.
Because everybody wants to be on Rogan.
Yeah, this dude, he's really legit. He basically just breaks everything down to like, you blame everything on drugs, but really it's like, well, why were you on drugs? Well, it's because of all these Dr. Gabor, and then it's Mate, like apostrophe. But he just explains how it's all basically trauma. All dis-ease, is caused by stress and trauma from when you're young.
I believe it. I'm all about it.
Like ADHD, all this type of stuff is all back. He breaks it down, like how a kid's brain works, how that would come to be, in your physiology based on your environment.
I like these name titles. When the body says no, scattered minds, the myth of normal. In the realm of hungry ghosts, hold on to your kids. I'm gonna have to check this guy out.
He kind of says that statistically, the helicopter kids come out fine.
Really?
Yes.
Why do people always talk shit about helicopter parents?
I don't know. And I kind of was like, I'm kind of more of the traditional thought of like, kind of like what Andrew Tate's coming from, right?
Yeah.
But obviously, not everyone's the exact same.
Yeah.
Yeah,
circumstances.
Which is a crazy idea too.
Right? No, it really is. A lot of the stuff that this ties into what Tate was talking about today was just holding yourself accountable. The guy that messaged him and was like, I'm going to kill myself. I don't know what to do, but I'm going to kill myself.
Yeah. And
he's like, go out and get a 6-pack. Before you decide to do this, I'm not telling you what to do, but go out and get a 6-pack. And that's like, make your bed every day. It's just the simple things that you tell somebody to do, but what goes with getting the 6-pack, all of a sudden your life is changing. Man, I'm not depressed. Well, because you were actively trying to fix your depression.
Right.
A antidepressant pill isn't actually going to fix the problem. It's just going to compound upon it. And then you have all of these crazy side effects that that remove your ability to not kill yourself.
Yeah.
Your inhibition, your human instinct to not kill yourself goes away with these antidepressant pills. Go figure.
Well, that's why I love this dude, because he's just basically like, even he has ADHD that he diagnosed basically himself with like at 50 or something,
Right.
And he's like,
textbook, I'm sure, right?
Yeah. And he said, he started taking Ritalin and, because he got his doctor friend to prescribe him. And he's like, I don't practice medicine this way. He's like, but for myself, if a little's good, a lot must be better. So I took double the dose. And he's like, man, it helped me write a book and all this. And he's like, but quickly I had depression symptoms and all this type of stuff that's kind of related with ADHD.
Yeah.
Medications.
The medications.
Ritalin, probably. And I didn't know, I guess Tate was talking about this in part. I think I heard it there, that it's only legal in like a couple countries.
Right. And I think that says a lot.
It says a lot.
Right there.
But I mean, of course, it'd be legal here where we're owned by pharma.
Right.
Every commercial you see on TV is just, I think it was like 70 or 80% of the commercials now are pharmaceutical commercials.
And what's even, you're talking about streaming services, or you're talking about like live TV?
Like normal everyday TV. Like,
because I've noticed it starting more and more on streaming services now too. You're seeing like all the ads.
Yeah.
And still, when the number one side effect of the pill that's supposed to make you feel better is suicide, like, why are people, I don't understand why people get behind that.
I don't know. It must be some kind of deep indoctrination with the doctor, like that Rich Dad, Poor Dad talks about how we, as poor families, grow up thinking the doctor is basically like par with God.
Right.
and they can do no wrong. And richer people see
they
the
can-
doctor as a tool.
They can heal you. They can save,
Right.
like in a more godly sense instead of like a
Well,
physical
whatever they
sense.
say, if they tell you don't do this or do this, you're supposed to listen to your doctor.
Right.
Where when you're raised with money, it's like you tell the doctor what you're there for
Right.
and what you want.
Yeah, nobody ever
It's like a
taught me
tool.
that.
Me
Yeah,
either.
I wish I would have known that more later in life. Like how to question the doctors, and
Yeah.
they don't always know
Right.
what's going on, and they'll make you. They're trained to make you confident and comfortable, even though they have 5% confidence in what they're telling you.
Did I send you that clip with Dr. Drew where it's a short Instagram clip, and he's just basically saying how
Would
Practice-
you have emailed it?
it would have been email, and I'll double check my phone too while we're looking, but I try to email stuff that we're going to pull up here. It may have just been to you though if it was on Instagram. Let me just look at my DMs real quick.
Alex Jones. You know what's crazy is just like kind of you were saying, every time we talk about something, like I'll get an Apple News notification talking about Andrew Tate. I'll get Alex Jones
Alex
notification.
Jones.
Yeah, I don't see it.
Okay. I'll just go on YouTube because I guarantee everyone's been talking about it.
I wonder if it's ever going to get to the point where the social media companies just can't scrub anymore, but I doubt it because it's all AI that's doing it for the most part.
Yeah, when the gist was just that Dr. Drew said that if someone came in and he wouldn't legally be able to tell them anything other than what the kind of the dogma that, or the not dogma, but the script that they've been given by pharma,
Right.
he can't even say anything outside of that, because even if you like him as a doctor right now, later on you could actually turn him in and he could lose his license
Right.
just for having a normal everyday discussion about the side effects from the vaccines or anything.
Yeah.
If he says anything outside of like just the mouse trials, or I can't remember exactly what it is,
That's
but
crazy.
he's like, we can't even basically practice medicine when it comes to this.
When you're like
category.
in the actively practicing
Yeah,
or
like
whatever.
if you go in and you want to know about it and he breaks it down like the facts to you,
Yeah.
he could lose his license.
Well, because doctors aren't in the business of healing people. Doctors aren't in the business of making you feel better. MDs are medical doctors. They are only trained to treat things with medicine.
and you know who trains them and who pays for their schools? It's the pharmaceutical companies.
Right.
So what they're trained in is pharmaceuticals and chemistry of the body,
That's right.
not energy centers or flow or any of that type of stuff.
Right. That's right.
Holistics or herbs.
And a lot of them will start to get into it a little bit later on in life, but even then it's too late because they've already, I think it's a pride thing, right? Like,
I think, yeah. Well, if you do all that doctor stuff, it's hard to go back and say, oh, maybe I didn't learn everything.
right.
And that's just like the smallest thing you could say.
Well,
It's
and then
really
it
like
talks,
you only
right?
learned one thing,
Yeah.
which is how to give medications to people
Yep.
and how to read lab results and stuff like that.
Yeah. Well, and when you have the pharmacy techs come in and they write you your big bonus check
Yeah.
and say,
Which I don't think is allowed. Like I know there's restrictions on things now.
now,
You
I know that's how it
just
used to be.
Info, people used to like some of the most beautiful girls that I've known from the gym were also like pharmaceutical rep.
Huh.
You're at the doctor one day and you're like, you see him come walking in. And
Right.
you're like, oh, well, of course you work for, that's probably, if I looked like you, I'd be working
Yeah.
anywhere
yeah.
I wanted to.
Yeah, when I was in sales, I sold roofs. I probably looked like I could sell roofs. I probably wouldn't sell very many pharmaceuticals.
No, I probably wouldn't either.
I don't think in good conscience, though, I could either. That's where I'm at with it.
Yeah.
I have a hard time. I have a hard time believing that anything that has side effects should be put in your body. There's usually a better way to go about it.
Yeah. Well, all these drugs are made from natural reoccurring sources, and then they synthesize
They're synthesized,
it, right?
right?
Like they tried to do with cannabis, and they created spice.
Yeah, and
And
it
it-
started killing people.
People started eating each other's face and shit.
Mm-hmm.
So where did the spice come from? Pharma.
Yeah,
They developed it, because they didn't want to legalize weed. Because
Right.
you can't legalize a naturally reoccurring substance because
Right.
it's a federal law. We all remember the Natural Cures book, back when.
way back in the day.
There's probably no cures in there, but it was a good start. There was a book that was called Natural Cures.
That's funny. You know, as far as curing yourself goes, I mean, bring it all the way back to weed. Start if you are sick, RSO. RSO, I've seen it change people's lives.
Yeah. I was just talking to my buddy that works at one of the clubs around here. He brought me some things that we're going to try.
Yeah.
And he was saying the RSO down there flies. That it's hard to basically keep in stock.
That's crazy.
And I think it was like $50 for, I think it was like 1,000. I mean, it wasn't that much, but it's in capsules.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be strain specific. And so he's like, obviously.
Yeah, probably not. Well, they're not
Like-
putting them in syringes. They're in capsules.
It sounded like they were little caps.
Man, I hope not 1,000 milligram caps.
No, it was like for
Holy.
the whole pack it was 1,000.
Got it.
So I don't know, maybe like 20. I think they were 25 each. Or something.
25. Yeah, that's reasonable. 25. That's still a lot, honestly.
You know, it is for what,
Yeah.
I'm familiar with. But compared to medicine,
Yeah.
that's a fraction. If you had cancer, let's say, and you had to pay,
Hey, and are we supposed to say none of these statements have been approved by the FDA, nor are represented?
yeah. What's the FDA? What's the CDC? Oh, just puppets for the pharmaceutical companies now.
Yeah, just more. Fauci finally
God, Fauci.
put up the white flag and disappeared. He is probably in a cave somewhere.
Yeah. I don't know how old the clip was, but I was watching one yesterday, and it was him and Rand Paul going at it again.
Oh, God, I love watching Rand Paul just annihilate him. And Fauci just sits there and is like unfazed by his own bullshit.
Well, I mean, dude's been around for a long time.
Yes.
We don't necessarily follow that. But when the AIDS was a thing, he was big in the news.
I think he's been in infectious disease for just decades, right? And
Yeah.
he probably knows more than lots of presidents.
Speaking of Fauci, kind of ties in, but have you heard about the Great Reset before?
I mean, it's similar
And-
to like Noah and the flood.
Yeah, like the more modern, I guess, the Great Reset is a plan out by Klaus Schwab in the World Economic Forum.
Okay.
And it's just kind of like the line of what the New World Order is going to be. And they're the ones that are like, everyone's going to own nothing and you'll be happy.
So we're like in the beginning of that.
So they've wrote the book, but I noticed the definition, to the Great Reset. I was trying to use the Wayback Machine, which is on Wiki,
Right.
And it's been changed like 200 and some times or something, but I'm not as familiar with the Wayback Machine. So
Yeah.
sometimes it'll just be an update or something, but the definitions of things are starting to change a little bit.
Yeah, we were kind of talking about that on the last show.
Yeah.
And it's funny to me. And I guess we've kind of always known that to be true. And, you kind of think about it like, time evolves and the way we speak changes and, like a vernacular will get more advanced over time. But that's not true. They're just changing history. They're changing the definitions of things to suit their, whoever the main populist agenda to suit their own needs. And, just like the social medias are doing, they change their terms of use so often.
Yeah.
So
true.
Most everybody has violated a term of use at some point in time, depending on which one they want to pull up and point out.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, I've definitely violated many,
Yeah, well, you do that on purpose.
I can't even be tagged on Instagram.
I try and toe the line somewhat, and I still get fucked with. I hate it so much.
I don't even want to be there, but it's like where all your
No.
friends are at. It's like a bar that you hate, but you don't know anyone at the next bar.
Yeah, right.
So you just keep going to that one.
Exactly.
And then eventually
The
you're
drinks
just
are
like,
terrible.
Yeah, the drinks suck.
The bartender's a freaking moron. But you still end up going.
Yeah, it sounds like our bar's downtown.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Terrible.
Welcome to the valley.
Yeah.
Híjole.
Well, should we get high?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I can go pee first.
Yeah, let's take a break.
I was at the dog park today for like 2 hours because I've been trying to take Doobie to socialize.
Yeah.
You know, with other dogs. He's still very submissive, even though he's 130 pounds.
That's good.
And so I'm like, okay, I need to get him around some aggressive dogs, maybe.
Toughen him up a little bit.
Just get him used to, like, I don't want to wait till he has the confidence to bite back the first time he gets tested. I want him to already know, hey, it's okay to go belly up sometimes.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But lately there's been no dogs at the dog park because it's so hot.
Right.
Maybe like 8 in the morning, but that's not my time, really.
Yeah, you're going to bed.
Yeah. I'm like, maybe 11, 12, where, it's 115. That's kind of tough.
Yeah.
But there was this dog out there, and they were like, he was shitting all over the place. That's where I was coming from that. But and then she tells me, oh, yeah, someone told me if I want him to get, thicken up, to put him on kibbles and bits. I'm thinking, yeah, it's like fast food for dogs.
Yeah, right. Like,
you
want
to fatten them up.
Yeah.
Fatten them up. Precisely. And it was like a mother with their little fat child, and he wasn't fat, and I just thought he's shitting all over because you're feeding him kibbles and bits. Like my dog hasn't shit one time because
his body's trying to get that shit out of him.
Yes, and it was like you could tell by the color. It was like that kind of orange almost dog shit.
Yes,
it's like the color of the food.
It looks like all the dye
whatever
they
dye.
put
Yes,
in.
yes.
Oh, that's crap.
Apparently it was coming out okay as he
literally
all over the place.
Well, I'm glad my bathroom break reminded you of your most recent dog park experience.
Yeah. I figured, blend that in there. So check out this week.
All right, what are we smoking on?
All right, take a little dry hit so you can taste it.
Ooh.
So
just throw that down there. It's okay.
That's it. I can stay right there. So.
Ooh, yum.
Yeah, it does. It's pretty good. Apparently, this is $60 eighths at the shop all day.
Is it that good?
It's cookies, blue agave.
Oh, it's a cookies. Okay. Was that all you had? We don't have enough to test?
So I kept a little piece. It may not be enough, but I have some other stuff to test right here. Okay. This is the stuff I really want to know.
Okay. Blue agave.
Yeah, check this one out. So I think there's only like a gram in there. I don't know.
Empire Mints, 38.18% THC. Bullshit.
Yeah. So I think we should test it.
Yeah, we'll test it. Total THC 31.8, THCA 35.5. We'll see. That doesn't even.
Some big numbers there. So I thought, are they trying to say total like cannabinoids is,
Well, total cannabinoids they have right as 38, but they've got THCA as 35.
So it's
but their total THC is only 31.
So that doesn't.
Already the numbers are just weird, but that's okay. That's what we have an actual tester for. Ooh, this hasn't been opened.
No, I kept a cherry for you.
Oh, I get to pull the seal.
Yeah, it's a little tight here.
It's okay. No, I'll go like this.
Oh, ooh, wait.
That was satisfying. I hope that was just as good for you as it was for me.
Man, everyone knows that sound.
That's right. Oh, I like that. Oh, yeah, it is a gram too.
It's like I just spent too much, and I hope this smells good.
It smells good.
That's good.
Ooh, wow.
I don't even know what that one looks like. I got another little container like that, but I don't know what the
not a
strain
gram, though. That was a gram when it was wet.
Yeah, a wet gram. It's like one nug for sure. If it's the cherry,
yeah,
it's hard. It's
pretty
hard.
Yeah.
I didn't bring a scale, but
I might have to go get one.
Go get a scale.
I'm gonna go get a scale. We'll see.
You're talking all this shit on the clubs. You guys better have it straight. $60 eighths. Try to get my ash in the ashtray because every time I'm here, I wax this whole office.
Oh, it smells good.
I actually did like this one. I told my buddy, I was like, I see a lot of these samples and stuff that, people come across, or maybe they go buy it. Maybe it falls off the truck. I'm not sure. Someone's buying it. But I was like, bro, I haven't been real impressed. So I'm not really probably interested in anything. And he's like, yeah, some of this stuff is pretty good. What is it?
1.15.
1.15.
They did
in
you
your
right.
face.
They did you right.
All right.
That's a good looking bud there.
I thought it could be a gram. I know it deals with some dense weed.
Just looked. It looked fluffy. It's got that fluffy
It does.
shape, but it is dense.
I don't know if it's going to be as good. I feel like this one is really good.
What did that one test out at? Let's see.
I didn't even look. I was so caught off guard by the 35% or whatever.
This one says total THC 31, no THCA content.
I'm just trying to figure out how there's THCA when it's been sitting in a jar, curing.
Well, I mean, they're going off the initial testing batch,
Okay,
testing, so they can send one nug in from the whole batch
Right after they trim it.
Right after they trim it, and honestly, THCA is not going to convert to THC. There's a lot of misinformation in the world out there when it comes to like weed, just in general, the chemistry, the science, and things behind it. THCA will crystallize, and once it's crystallized, it doesn't uncrystallize no matter how long it sits.
Okay.
Right? So, which tells me I think there's a lot of, misinformation going on with the THCA, THC. If it's been sitting around long enough to convert from THCA to THC, then you're talking about 2-year-old crop at that point. Let me hit this.
All right. Oh, yeah, I can hear that. Sounds like a campfire.
Your joints always burn so pretty.
Thank you. I was like, no pressure. I'm rolling it in 4K.
Yum.
But it has really good flavor. It's a little resiny. My lips a little sticky.
Yeah. It's got a good flavor.
But I wouldn't mind an ounce of this.
Yeah, no shit.
It's
$60 an eighth all the way up.
Fuck.
Times 28
So
or 8. I mean,
apparently there is a lot of deals at this particular location, but
depending on who you know.
yeah, probably, and just in general for the customers. But when you're
Do you
doing
want to
full-
shout? Do you want to shout the location out? Is it worth it?
I don't know. Maybe next time.
Maybe not.
Maybe
It
next
depends
time.
on if they schmooze you enough this
Yeah.
time.
Yeah. Maybe I need to get some more special products.
Yeah, some more samplers.
Yeah. But we'll shout out what the products are.
So what was I talking about? The THCA,
So you were just
THC
saying-
thing, right?
Once it's crystallized, it's not gonna just turn into THC. I assumed, and maybe this is me just from the layman's side. You get your weed, they trim it. You can either make live resin out of it at that time while
Right.
the trichomes are clear and they're not cured.
Right.
Right.
Ish.
So if it sits around, it's
When do
not
you want
live.
me to correct you?
Okay, start correcting. Well, hold on, not yet.
Okay.
So most people think here's what we normies think. You cut the weed and you got to process it and you can get some live THCA.
Okay.
Okay. If the weed sits around and starts to cure, then that's not THCA anymore. It's like the bud's curing, so now it's considered THC.
So, okay, what you're doing is you're mixing up like the difference between live resin and cured resin, and then THCA converted to THC. So live, the definition of live is just fresh, right? So, and the trichomes shouldn't necessarily be clear because then that means that the plant itself is harvested too early.
Okay.
The trichome should be cloudy because that's when the THCA is at its most ripe, right?
Okay.
When you see like when it's on the plant and you're looking at the trichomes, then it starts to turn amber while it's on the plant and it's going through its life cycle, progressing through a cycle. That's it converting. But that's it converting to THCA, CBN, not CBD because CBD actually comes before THC and THCA. But CBN is a big one. And those things you don't really want because they're not as heady. They're more body high.
Gotcha.
So that's mixing in the difference
So-
between them two again. So the difference between live and cured is when it's fresh, or the plant is fresh and just been cut and is still moist, right?
Right.
That's live. That has
That's
that.
my favorite kind of weed.
Right.
It's like still almost wet and it never tastes the same as it does like when you're trimming it or
Yep.
very shortly after.
It tastes like it smelled while it was.
So in my
growing.
mind, I'm like, oh, this is live weed, and that's what I call it. And everyone's like, huh? You
Yeah.
know. But I'm like, then I see the THCA stuff and the THC, so I just kind of assumed that the cured resin was THC and live resin was THCA.
Yeah, and it should all be THCA when it's in bud form.
Okay.
Because it
Until you
hasn't.
burn it.
Till you burn it.
Okay.
That's right, and that's
Okay.
when it goes through that
Gotcha.
whole decarbonculation
So,
process.
On this strain, and I know you're saying this isn't accurate, so maybe that's why it's just
I'm not
mixing
saying.
me up,
I'm
but
not
they're
saying
saying
that
there's
it's-
no live
Well,
in this one. So how can this, like, you know what I'm saying? If it's all live on the bud,
Well, and again, live only stands for when there's moisture content in the plant, right? So when it's fresh, so like think fresh frozen, that's what live is now, right? Fresh frozen. So
Okay.
they're taking it and they're blasting it while it's still frozen, still has the moisture content, all those fresh terps and everything like that. That's the only thing that makes it live. Once it's cured, that actually makes it better.
Right, that's what I
Cured
thought.
weed is better than live weed.
Right,
Live
there's a
weed
reason-
is fucking garbage. I hate live weed. I hate live terps. Now, if it's extracted properly, but it still has to go through a refinement phase to pull all of the stuff out that you're actually pulling through anyways.
yeah.
So
I don't know. I do think when, I'm smoking live weed, let's say, that was just cut, maybe it's
if
strain
it's dry,
specific.
if it's dry and smokable,
I
it's
see.
not live.
Okay, I see.
So if it's smokable, it's not live.
So it comes straight off the pot and into the freezer type of thing.
Into the
That's
freezer
live.
and then into the extraction.
All the moisture.
Correct.
Okay.
That's considered. That's what the industry considers live.
Okay.
And I think it's all bullshit.
Right. So when they're putting it on weed, it's kind of bullshit.
Yeah, it is because you're just we're talking about elements and molecules and simple percentages, right? So you have bud. It's telling you that 40% of that bud that you have is cannabinoids, not chlorophyll, not plant material. They're telling you 40%, half of that bud that you got
it's basically
is
hash.
THC. It's THC, right?
Yeah.
That's what it would. Okay, a hash ball is 60%.
Okay.
So they're saying
well.
they're 20% off.
Damn.
So on that note,
Okay.
we should put our money where our mouth is.
All right, let's do it.
We're gonna do this live too because I haven't pulled out my Purple Pro in a long time. It's charged. I did make sure it was charged.
Okay. I was like, man, I hope it's available.
Yeah, I do actually love this thing. It's not like, well, they say it's accurate within like 0.01 of what a lab will do, but I don't know. Where'd I put it? Here it is. Okay, this segment is not to be misconstrued as an endorsement for Purple Pro because until they fucking pay me or they respond to my technical support fucking tickets, then I'm not going to endorse their product. I'm going to use their product, but I do not endorse it.
Understood.
But it is a pretty cool fucking toy.
I got a purple pillow. It was kind of expensive. You know, when you hate your pillow, you'll almost pay anything. You're like, what's the most expensive pillow on the internet? I'll use that one.
Is that they have the purple mattress now too?
Yeah,
right?
yeah, they have the mattress.
Isn't that like 10 grand? or
Yeah, that's a
something?
little out of the price range there.
Hey, MetaQuest fucking emailed me.
Oh, yeah.
Assholes.
MetaQuest.
All right, purple PU.
Man, this weed, I got to say, is fucking resiny as fuck.
Yeah, it's super resiny.
I'm like, I got it on my teeth. It's so, my lips are so sticky. I've been trying to avoid it. So is that little thing hooked to your phone?
It will be eventually. I should have done this beforehand. I didn't have time. That's okay. I'll edit out the the big long gap in time.
All good. Yeah, I brought a couple pins, I guess they're called the Jeters.
I've been hearing about Jeter juice.
Jeter juice. These are like some live, I don't know, some better ones, I guess. But then I know there's ones on the street, and I can guarantee those are knockoffs. Just
Right.
When a bunch of 16-year-olds have them, obviously, you know that someone filled them.
Here's your sign.
Oh, here.
I'll hit that. That's not ready to be put out yet.
We'll get out your chopsticks.
Smoke that shit down till the stingers.
Yeah, it's like on the cigars. My stepdad was saying how sometimes your cigar's so good you wish you had a roach clip for it. Because you get down to the end. I'm like, I know the feeling.
I saw the guy smoking cigars on the podcast.
Oh, you know that every time I'm like,
I already know.
if we had a room like that.
I was like, I felt Chad's angst
Yes.
in time
Yes.
as I was watching it.
I was actually watching that podcast and I started smoking a cigar out back
because
I was like, and it's just something.
Now, is it just Tate that was smoking? I didn't see if
they
were
all start. Yeah,
did
they all do at different times, but they all pretty much started going.
I didn't realize how much I was going to like Andrew Tate, to tell you the truth.
Honestly, I didn't either. I just liked him at first because he was kind of that wow shock factor, and I can appreciate that.
I like guys that motivate and inspire. You know what I mean? That's what I want, and that's what I hope to be.
I really like. So, I have to admit this, and I had heard what Jake Paul kind of said about him, and I also heard what his brother Logan said, and I was kind of like, huh, okay. Because they're like, who needs a Bugatti? Go put that money in the bank. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that either. But then Tate was pointing out how Logan Paul is basically like a mouthpiece for,
whatever the agenda is.
Yeah. And it's true. And I've seen their little dumbass podcast a few times. I think I even seen it to you. Seen it to you. It was that impulsive. I shouldn't even name it. But
yeah, we'll
people
edit
know
that
it.
out.
Yeah, people know it.
All right, we're getting somewhere.
But that dude's my size almost. That Logan Paul. And
Really?
He boxed Floyd Mayweather. That was a fight they put on. That's like...
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
And Floyd, I think, even knocked him out halfway standing up and held him up, they're saying. It's like me and you boxing. And granted, and you're the most skilled boxer in the world, but still.
Yeah, sometimes age will take skill. Come on, you fucking turn on. It's another problem, Purple. It's charged and it won't turn on until I plug it back in, turn it on.
Jesus. Come on, Purple.
Purple.
It's all fun and games till people start using your products live. It's like I would hate to roll someone a moon rock cone and then it get plugged in the middle of their podcast or drip all over their lap. That would be the worst case scenario.
That would be terrible. Watch, all I'm going to have to do is plug it in.
For the initial power up?
Just, I don't know what it does. It's
That's
like,
weird.
Whatever.
I heard it.
And then it flashes. Now I'll be able to power it on.
And then you can unplug it.
I can unplug it.
Weird.
All right.
I got this other one too. 34%. I think. Shit. Yeah, 34.74.
Man, they're just putting numbers on things. Oh, I know why. I haven't used this on my iPhone yet.
Oh, since you switched to iPhone?
Yeah, that's what it is. I'm sitting here, I'm like, why does this seem like I've never used it before? Because I haven't. By the way, I love iPhones a lot more than I love Purple Pro.
Well, I do love my iPhone too.
Once per week is enough. I need to calibrate. Okay, this is when it starts to get fun. So, process is let's just pretend like we're a new user, okay?
Okay.
We just signed up for an account. We're logged in. Now we need to calibrate. We have it in. It's got like a white sheet that it flashes against, and it calibrates in zeros. You know, I will say that I'm interested to see how easy this is to use on an iPhone, because on the Samsung, it sucked.
Oh, getting all set up on the app.
Just the app was glitchy.
Gotcha. Yeah, I do feel like when it comes to that, like maybe because iPhone's more popular, sometimes they cater to. I had someone recently, I don't remember who it was, and they were kept shoving their Google in my face, you know? And I was like, I know about the Google. My friend had the Google.
Yeah, the Google, you know, the Jujel, I call it now.
Yeah.
The Jujel. All right, so with the Purple Pro, it's set up, it's calibrated. Now it's got this little tray that you pop on. That's where you put the weed. Comes with a cool little grinder, so everything is milled to a proper specification.
Oh. I like that grinder. Even though it's a little small.
Yeah, it grinds really nice though.
Yeah, it looks like my big one on the inside.
It's got this like ceramic coating.
Oh,
it's like
nice.
non-stick. I don't know.
Nice.
It's
That's what I
proprietary.
need. That's what I need.
Out of the, I don't remember how much I spent on this thing. I think it was $1,500. The grinder is my favorite part.
Damn. Well, you should have got a 4-inch grinder at least.
They should have threw in a 4-inch grinder. All right, what are we testing first?
I think we should test this.
Let's test the one we just smoked.
Okay. Do we
Okay,
have
you got
enough?
that should be enough.
I know I started getting into rolling the joint, and I was like, oh, shit. I got to keep a little bit of this.
I think what we should do is all the weed we test will roll into one joint, like
Okay,
together
perfect.
at the end.
Perfect.
Because it'll be all ground.
Well, they're all like 40% THC, so, you know, it should be pretty even.
Let's see.
Watch it comes out like 30, you know. If it comes out above 30.
Yeah, well, I wonder if they updated that, because it used to max out at 30.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that. It was like 30 plus.
Yeah, I would say 30
Greater than.
plus. We'll see.
Well, I know sometimes some of the best weed I've had, and we tested it, it was, you know, mid 20s.
Yeah. Well, I think you have potency, which is great, but we talk about all the time entourage effect. You know, potency, it doesn't tell the whole story.
Right.
You don't have a lot of room for flavor.
if THC only was the only thing that mattered, we'd only smoke pens, right?
Right. Well, I only smoke pen.
Well,
That's not true. I smoke flower when I'm with you.
and gets you a lot different high, right?
Oh man, I opened a diamond pod today.
Ooh.
I felt so like guilty.
It's like forbidden fruit.
Why are you telling me to calibrate again, bitch? My device. Don't make me calibrate again. It's already loaded.
Here, try one of these while you're.
Measure.
So apparently you're supposed to be careful and hit these like little hits because they burn easily.
Oh, the coil.
Yeah, I think it's probably cotton, I'm assuming, if it could burn. When I was kind of going over it with my friend, I couldn't really remember what pre-ceramic was. I was like, oh, it's cotton. But these remind me of what they used to call those rosin pens, a little bit cleaner taste. Those real dark ones, like the Alien Lab OG. I'll say it gets you high as shit. I did notice, like, it's just something different maybe too.
It's good.
But it's good.
It's distillate though, with live terps.
Okay. I was wondering, did it have a very distinct flavor?
Yeah, the flavor is awesome. But there's no way that's rosin. They're supposed to be. Are they?
I think they're just calling them live resin. I
Live
think they're
resin,
past
okay.
the rosin. But I was just saying back when they used to try to pull that, and
Yeah.
you're like, I don't really know how that works. Well, yeah, it doesn't. I was just a consumer back then that try this one. They're different flavors.
God, that's got a very distinct flavor. What is it?
I don't know.
I can't put my nose on it.
Me either. I was like, either he's gonna love this or hate it. I'm not sure which.
It's great. I mean,
I had to steal my wife's. Well, I got them, and of course I had two. So I was like, here's one for you. And then I found a couple other pins on our couch today. And so before I left, I ran in there and I stole hers off the side of the bed.
Are these the same or different?
They're different, but one of them was already out of the pack, so I only knew what, and I didn't even really look. It's probably sitting at the house, but can't even tell you what flavors they are. But they both taste pretty good.
They have. God, what is that flavor? They both have it too. It's got to be the distillate that I'm tasting.
Maybe it is, but it reminds
It's
me
good,
of those
though.
Alien Lab or Alien, whatever it is, Alien Labs crossed with something. It used to be like 40 a half gram.
Are we ready for the results?
Ooh. Sorry, that was a terrible thing. That was like I just shot everyone in the room with a machine gun. I have a 5-year-old.
No, I don't want the results. You can't handle
Yeah,
the results. This one hit 29%.
Okay.
So,
okay.
I mean, it's close.
So it's only, what, 6% under?
Which one did we test it? Yeah, we tested the one we smoked.
Which was that one. Yeah.
So they said 31%. So, I
Okay.
mean, give or
Oh.
take within margin
All right.
of error, I would say.
All right, cookies. It did taste really good. That joint
That joint
Smoke.
was good.
tastes good all the way to the end.
I got a nice high, like
Yeah.
a uppity buzz too.
That's true. I didn't get slammed.
All right, I
You know
gotta
why?
see. Are we gonna? Huh?
We've been smoking the Triton the last couple shows.
Right. I was kind of relieved. You
I
didn't
knew.
pull
I was
that
like,
out.
you know what? I'm just gonna start. I mean, we'll just get regular high today.
Regular
You know?
high.
I always tell people, "Have you seen Little Mermaid?" I'm like, "Well, you're about to."
Nobody can handle the Triton but us.
Yeah. Turn into Ursula.
All right, what do we got next? Let's see
Okay.
what that 38%. It better break the scale.
I know.
All right, stick this over the tray and plop that on there.
It's like a little pellet.
Yeah, preformed for your enjoyment.
What's the bud picture? What's that? Is that just a random picture?
It's just a random picture.
Just like
It's
some
a nice
fire
looking
weed.
bud,
Yeah,
yeah.
I was like,
Fuck, give me some of that.
you know, what if you're testing some outdoor and you're looking at that, and that's kind of,
Yeah.
you know, I don't know. It just seems a little weird that they just only have a fire ass nug on there.
Right. That's misrepresentation. Yeah, this is pretty fucking fire.
Is
Holy
it?
shit.
Well, because I complained.
Look at that inside there, even.
Oh yeah, that's pretty frosty. It isn't my favorite smelling weed. I don't think it smells bad, but it's not like, damn, I like the way that cookie smelled.
Yeah, it's mild.
But it probably has a good flavor. But the blue agave was really tasty.
Yeah, that checked all the boxes for sure.
And I see, you know, if you're going to the shops, that's their top, and it's fresher. Obviously, like this stuff was really soft.
I wonder who the brand is. Oh, it's
It's
Cookies.
Cookies,
It
yeah,
is
it's on the
Cookies.
back. But apparently,
Mad Cow Genetics.
that's
Genesis Grow Corp.
type of shit goes all day. I'm not sure how much these were. Let's say those
Probably a shit ton
Yeah.
for half grams.
for half. Yeah, I think it was like 35. I feel like it was like around 35, 40, something like that. And that's probably pre-tax,
Pre-tax, don't
I
forget.
imagine.
Uncle Sam wants his portion of your weed money.
Because I'd be smoking one of those on a daily.
One of those?
No, one of these eights, these
Oh.
$60 eights.
An eighth? Oh, easy.
Easily one every day, and it tastes hella good.
Yeah.
If you were to like roll that joint, like I didn't just open that eighth. I'm trying to think. I probably packed a few bowls, but it did last me 2 days, I guess, because I was trying to make it last till tonight. And I got it yesterday afternoon.
All right, here we go. No drum roll this time.
All right, I'm gonna kill me, buddy.
Scanning. Scanning.
Insert drum roll here.
Analyzing. Are you ready?
Yep.
27%.
27%. Okay, all right.
I called it.
I don't feel like such a douche for talking all that shit. Because we know, and
I'm sorry, but there's no way. It's like not humanly fucking possible. I think tops is going to be 30s,
Right.
total cannabinoids. But you have all of this plant material that's not cannabinoid. Like there's not cannabinoids in the leaf material. There's not cannabinoids in the stems.
Right.
It's only in the trichomes. But nice try. They tried.
well, we'll see what it tastes like whenever we smoke it. But I still, it's going to
There's
be hard
enough.
to beat.
You should. That's probably enough for like a pinner. All of that, if you want to keep it separated.
Okay, maybe I'll do that.
Do you want to scale grinder?
Yeah, I could have used this a little bit ago.
When you were in here grinding weed for 10 minutes.
Yeah. With my fingers. So these are different. This is the same. Right? No, this is...
Whichever one I just handed to you.
That's the one you just gave me. This
Yep.
was the other one.
Yep.
So this goes with this.
I can't believe the higher rated one tested lower.
Yeah.
I kind of had a feeling. But again, it's nice weed. Like, it's so relative, and I wish people wouldn't get wrapped up in the numbers. Don't get wrapped up in the numbers because it's good pot. Just because the numbers said it's 29%, and, well, get wrapped up in the numbers when they tell you it's 38% and it's only 29%.
Yeah, know that there's a cap there somewhere.
All right, watch this. Now I'll turn off my purple. But now it'll turn back on.
Really?
Yeah. If you go through that stupid cycle, there it goes. It'll turn back on. But see, I wanted to make this live and raw for the folks.
Well, I'm kind of nervous using a $1,500 grinder.
Yeah, don't break the ceramic.
You know, I don't want to cross thread the plastic bottom.
As he smacks the ceramic
Clink,
against
clink,
the metal.
Yeah. Ching, ching, ching.
Oh, well, that was fun. We should. That's going to be a segment. Let's
Yeah.
let's test the club weed.
Yeah, testing weeds.
What I really want is someone to come in and be like, okay, like I know I have good pot, but I want to test it and see where it's like, not trying to be like I got the best or I already know it's going to be this, that, like, I already got some good weed. Let's see where it lines up, and then be pleasantly surprised wherever it lands.
Right.
Like, fuck, you throw a 38% on there. Jeez. I want to know what bud they tested. Like it was like the bottom bud that was rolled up in all the hash from the whole turkey bag.
The finger hash from the whole trim.
And they send it into the testing facility.
They're testing the scissor hash.
Speaking of which, testing, I had a sample land today at the good old testing lab.
Oh, yeah? Shout
out to my testing lab. I'm not going to say your name. But you're awesome. So I didn't know. So speaking of numbers, and actually not what's crazy is the numbers that I see commonly when I see like store and club like pens, like 84%, 87%.
Yeah, a lot of stizzies are in the 80s.
Barely 90.
Yeah.
So I was working on a project that I was consulting on, and they were hitting 91% THC, 97%.
Just normal,
on
everyday
their
people.
distillate. Yeah, well,
more or less.
Yeah.
Not big multi-million-dollar brand.
Yes. Yeah. Small mom and pop local brand. And, very, very, very good, strong numbers. And those numbers don't matter. So you have legit higher numbers.
Right.
That doesn't matter because that small mom and pop company has to prove themselves way too much.
Yeah, well, we've all been kind of taught that, like, if you go to the store, like, the best cookies are at Save Mart, let's say. You go to Save Mart, you get some Chips Ahoy. When in reality, if your grandma makes some cookies, they're going to shit on Chips Ahoy. Chips Ahoy is like not even a fucking cookie compared to what you can make at home.
Okay, the best cookies are made at Costco. Did we talk about this last time?
I don't know.
Because Costco cookies are the bomb. The chocolate
Really?
chip, you get the box of the 24 chocolate chip, and they're like fresh, soft, moist, like grandma made them, just like you're saying.
Okay.
Yeah, they win.
Yeah. All right.
But they're not.
But they're still not grandma's cookies.
They're still not grandma's cookies, but they're also not.
Well,
Nabisco.
grandma, and why you don't buy them from grandma because she's not making 40 packs a day.
Yeah.
You go to the mass production people. So we've all started going to the stores, and that's like 80% of the food or more is killing you from the store. And I think that's how the weed will slowly be.
Yeah.
You got all these GMO weed strains. I've heard like 5 pounds of light. 5 pounds of light on some of these new strains.
I wonder what the THC content on that is, because it's not going to be high. You're going to have more plant material. I mean,
I don't know. I mean, could you modify it to still,
I mean, they can do anything.
I don't think
I imagine
they're
in a
gonna
lab
be going way down on quality to get.
Well, they will. They
they
will
can
because it's all because think about the hemp and CBD industry, and which the FDA and whatever is involved in.
Yeah.
They're taking 1% and 2%. Like they have acres and acres, like miles and miles and miles, and their concentration, their total cannabinoids in these plants are 1% and 2%. They're growing them bigger, better, or not better, but badder,
So
because
they can get enough for the weight. That
right. So if
offset
you
that
have a shit
percentage.
ton, but it's still only good, like the genetics can only produce potency wise, I think what the genetics can produce. And nobody wants any of that freaking bullshit GMO stuff anyways. I wouldn't put that in my body.
No, but they don't know. They're going to the store. It's a seed to sell type of thing.
Well, and I guess I say that, but I don't really give a fuck about what's GMO or what's not when I go to the
When you go to the
grocery
grocery store. And that's kind of what I was just mentioning. Like
Yeah.
on every level, we've already been trained to just like accept the poison.
Accept it, yeah.
And it is poison. And I don't think all the weed's like that yet, but it'll get there.
It
just
will.
like cigarettes and anything else. Dog
Well,
food, all that shit.
Think about where quality has gone, because there's two sides of the spectrum, because quality has gone up, but it hasn't. I don't think it's gotten better. I think growers have just gotten better at doing what the plant needs to nurture it, to get it to develop that.
Yeah, bring into that excellent environment.
But the quality has also gone down on the other, like the bad stuff is terrible.
Right.
Worse than the shit we used to smoke in high school.
Yeah.
Worse than the stuff we used to steal from your dad.
Yeah. Yeah, now you get a pound for what it used to be an ounce of like some low grade.
Right. Yeah,
know?
we'd spend like $100 an ounce on some stress.
Like I remember stress, it was like 60.
Okay.
But it was like beef jerky.
Right.
It came in
strips.
It was like a potato. If you got a lot. I remember finding like what I thought was 4 potatoes in my dad's drawer. And it was weed. And I remember trying to roll a joint. I hid my weed in my 6 foot tall POG container. About halfway down, about 3 feet in. I thought, they'll never look in here.
Right.
Even if my room starts smelling. Like that weed had
They'll
any
never
smell.
find it.
It was like a chunk. It might as well have been a square. Plastic square. I didn't have a grinder. I didn't know you needed scissors. I set my alarm for 3 a.m. I woke up. I dumped my pogs out. I'm like, all right, I don't know what I'm about to do. I had matches. I had matches. So this was like the first time I tried to smoke. It was by myself, and I realized that I wasn't going to be able to pull it off. I'm just literally. And he rolled with white papers, the little ones.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And to try to roll some stress with no grinder, no scissors. I didn't even know you
just
needed
poking holes.
Yeah, I'm like what the fuck? How do you even fit anything in here? Like I didn't understand the engineering or the whatever you would call that. I couldn't engineer a joint.
Yeah. Well, that's why. And then that's when we made one.
That's when
we made a pipe.
Yes.
We knew what the basics of a pipe was. And we knew we didn't want to smoke out of a pop can because we were going to get cancer. Pop.
Yes.
It's soda. I said pop. My
A
wife.
pop can.
My wife.
Damn,
would be
where are you from?
My wife would be so proud.
Oh, my
She's
God.
like, that Pacific Northwest got
Oh.
you. It's soda. It's soda.
It's soda. A pop. I wouldn't even know what that
I
is.
just distracted myself. That's terrible.
Where were we?
God, so we knew we didn't want to smoke out of a soda can. So we jacked one of my dad's sockets, the perfect bowl-sized socket, I must say.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we knew we didn't want to get cancer from a soda can. But we took a screen, we took a piece, like a hanging off piece of screen material to be our pipe screen.
Yeah, like a window screen.
Plastic window screen.
Yeah. Yes. They probably burned at a lot lower temp than the
soda,
compressed weed we're about to put in it.
But we got pretty high though.
You know,
It
it
wasn't
was
that
probably
time.
off the screen.
Yeah.
But I think about the first 5 times, I didn't even know if we were high or not. That's how bad the weed was back then.
I remember when I knew we were high when we were like in the back of your dad's truck
Yeah.
one time and we just started giggling.
Yeah. I remember that time. But until like chronic actual buds came around, I don't think I ever really got high. Like,
Right. True. Like actually high.
comparatively. You
Oh
know?
yeah. White Widow. Some White Widow came around.
I remember just hearing White Widow, and you'd go look on the internet because, you know, Google was just starting to become like mainstream and all that. And you're like, look at all those trichomes.
It's like juicy.
You don't even
looking.
understand how it works.
I was like hallucinating. I feel like
That's
that.
probably how these kids nowadays, when they see that anime porn, it's fucking them all up. You know, they're like,
Is that what it's
is that what it's supposed to look like? You know,
Is it
like,
supposed to
sorry,
have
ladies.
teeth?
Yeah, yeah.
Which one has
Fuck,
teeth?
have you seen the
I don't
the
watch anime.
octopus?
porn.
I don't either, but have you seen the octopus? Heard about the octopus shit? Oh
no,
man,
no,
those
no.
shits. I had to
The
just go look.
octopus shit?
These
What?
bitches. It's all right. You want me to tell you? Just
Cliff Notes.
cliff note it.
PG-13.
Oh fuck! Well, we just got to shut her down. Turn it off. Turn it off. Roll it back.
Roll it back.
Yeah. If you know
I'm
about
not
it,
Googling it.
just go look it up.
No, I'm not.
Not right now.
Okay.
At home, someone can go look it up. Put on your VPN. You'll be all right.
VPN. Oh, you sound so like wise.
Hey, I've been learnt. I got some techie friends. Actually, my stepdad is the one that was telling me about his VPN.
Oh,
And
really?
he's in his, I think.
Yeah, because he got convinced that he needed a VPN.
Yeah.
He probably pays for a subscription for it.
Probably. I'm sure, it's probably pretty cheap for feeling like it works.
Yeah.
I seen them promoting that Brave browser. Have you seen that? Kind of like DuckDuckGo type of thing.
Okay.
But like I don't know, better than DuckDuckGo.
Like a browser and the search engine. 'Cause
Maybe.
I think DuckDuckGo is just a search engine, right? So it might not be a browser.
Yeah, and it was weird because I swear I had mine on DuckDuckGo, then I was back on Google again.
Yeah.
Like, that's weird because I downloaded Brave the other day, and then so when you go to your settings, Brave's right there.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, we'll try this.
I will say on our last episode when I switched to DuckDuckGo, and it was like when I'm looking for like conspiracy shit, it's got to be DuckDuckGo. But like normal everyday stuff, I switched that shit back to Google so fucking fast.
Oh, if you're trying to mainstream it, it's the worst.
Yeah, because I'm like working, or you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like trying
No.
to figure shit out. Now I'm trying to figure out how to edit our damn shows. That's a bitch.
Well, I figured.
But once I get it figured out, it'll be streamlined.
Well,
but
then you could,
yeah. God, I really want to talk about, speaking of our last show, fucking Will Smith slap, because I had a chance to rewatch it, and then like now I'm editing it into the episode. And if you guys got to watch that, what I really want to do maybe next episode is I want to do like a side by side comparison of like timing,
Yes.
because it's like and maybe it's just because I'm misremembering the Will Smith slap in my head.
how we want it.
Yeah, because I haven't watched it since, but I'm like, I feel like it is literally like word for word, step for step, slap for slap, reaction, to reaction.
Yeah.
I feel like it's just totally identical. And I'm surprised that hasn't gone more mainstream.
Well, excuse me. Have you heard of this Jimmy Kimmel challenge. One of these UFC fighter dudes. He's the one that wore the leather strap, like he was like wearing like leather, like BDSM gear, like into the ring.
He was a UFC fighter.
He's a UFC guy.
I remember.
He has like a lip ring.
What's his name? Do you remember?
Oh God, I knew you were gonna ask me that.
Because you looked at
Put
the
on
screen.
I know. He's calling out Jimmy Fallon. Basically, it's called like the Jimmy Fallon Challenge or something. Like
Jimmy Fallon or Jimmy Kimmel?
I'm sorry, Jimmy Kimmel. Jimmy Fallon. The fuck. What must be the weed? I will say on this weed, it tastes pretty good.
Yeah, that does taste better.
It didn't smell the best, but it tastes.
I think
good.
it was because they had a freaking gram in an 8 pop topper, not sealed.
Yeah, that probably doesn't help.
Oh, Kumbao. What was that guy's name? It just popped up.
I don't even know how to say his name, bro. I think
King
that's why I don't
Bao?
know. Yeah, it's King something. I don't know a lot about this, so this
back
may
on
be some
Google.
straight shit.
Yeah,
but
this guy. It's 2 minutes 50 seconds. We can watch it. Oh yes, and it worked the
It
first
seems
time.
like nearly
Thank God.
everyone is getting tired of the mainstream media and the woke elites who hold so much power, including people in the sports world. We're only a few months removed from Israel Adesanya, UFC champ, calling out the way that things were handled with Ghislaine Maxwell. And now you have another MMA fighter who's calling out the mainstream media, calling out Jimmy Kimmel, and calling out a lot of these people in Hollywood and in the entertainment industry. MMA fighter Joel Bauman unloads on Jimmy Kimmel and Hollywood in a fiery tirade. And we're going to let this man speak for himself because he has a lot to say. MMA fighter Joel Bauman tore into Jimmy Kimmel and others in an explicit post-fight interview. Bauman, who defeated Anthony Ivy in Fury FC 68 on Sunday.
His voice has like no bass. Do we have too much bass in ours?
we're a lot. I don't know. Maybe.
Or does he just have no bass in his voice?
I don't know. Are we too Barry?
I don't know. I like it.
You're a lot more Barry than
That's
me.
me. Yeah. I can't control
Naturally.
it. Maybe I should just take the bass off.
Too smooth.
Uh-huh. All right.
Sunday, called out the Jimmy Kimmel Live host following the match and later told Hollywood to eat a dick. And the first part, this is something about his NFT. I don't really know the whole story behind his NFT. I wish him the greatest success with his NFT, whatever. It's the second part that he said that has a lot of people listening.
Athletes are getting paid today. Mr. Influencer to influencers. Secondly, Jimmy Kimmel, viral this. I fight to eradicate childhood malnutrition from the planet. And until they release the flight logs, you, the mainstream media, Hollywood, are all pedophiles to me. Eat dick.
Wow. Good
So
for
this
him.
is like a month ago. So since
Am I canceled yet.com?
Holy shit. So let's go over what he...
We'll talk about it. You can shut up
yeah,
now.
so there's more videos. There's like day 19. He does like a video every day where he calls Jimmy out over
Good.
and over.
So is Jimmy supposed to be on a flight logs?
I don't know. That's what I'm wondering.
Well, nobody knows. Nobody knows who's on what flight log.
Well, I think the Democrats think Trump's on there.
Well,
That's
I
the
guess
only
he
thing
could be because we don't know.
He could be,
He could be because we don't know.
but I think if he was, I don't know. I feel like Trump could get his own plane.
I feel like Trump does have his own plane.
You know,
Isn't that why he did it? Use
I don't think he has to fly on other people's planes.
Did he use Air Force One? He probably did. I think he probably had to.
Yeah, maybe. He probably doesn't have like a.
He's probably in Air Force One, like, oh man, these seats are like,
Yeah.
they're just a little too. I wish I was in my plane right now.
Yeah, exactly. Like, we'll see how it goes.
So I'm glad a lot, and it seems like, of course, the fighting community is going to be the one that starts this because
Yes.
first of all, what are you going to do? They don't give a fuck.
Right. That's why I knew you would love this.
You come face to face with them,
Yes.
they're going to knock you out.
Yeah. They're starting to, like, after the fight, bring some shit up in the press conference.
Yeah.
That isn't a question.
Oh man, I wish I knew his name off the top of my head. But I think you might have sent me a link. There's one MMA fighter that I really love. He's like, his shtick is he's like a redneck guy, but he just won a belt just recently. God, I follow him on Instagram, and he is hysterical. But he's like, he's calling people out. He's calling America, Democrats, everybody.
I don't think I've seen him.
You just sent me a link with his face.
Maybe I did. I watch a lot of stuff.
Yeah, you do.
And by the time I get over here, it's all
I think
jumbled
it's this
together.
guy. That guy? Who's that
Oh,
guy?
yeah. Patty the Batty.
Is that? Oh, no, maybe that's not him. Patty the Baddie.
Man, you know about Patty?
He's an MMA fighter too, right?
Yeah. It's funny because in that video, like, he's like chubby as hell because obviously he's not like doing a fight, you know.
Now I'm never going to be able to scroll through my feed and try and fucking find this guy again. Let's take a break real quick.
All right,
so
I got a
find it.
piece.
Okay, Thug Nasty.
Tell her to be hungry when she picks me up. I'm taking her out for steak. Pablo?
Drive an electric car just because you like them, hey, that's fine. But don't tell me it's environmentally friendly. You're a stupid motherfucker if you do. Because that electric car runs off of coal. And to mine coal, it takes diesel equipment. To transport coal, it takes diesel equipment.
So this will just be a little blurb.
People
We'll talk about this later.
like myself who operate diesel equipment for your electric car to work. And I know that, what's his name, Elon Musk got more money than me. But y'all gotta remember, my business didn't get $500 million in subsidies in 1 year. My kind of business don't get no subsidies. So, really his success is for people like me that he stole from. I hope Mark Zuckerberg don't take this post down, because it's true. He sure as hell ain't gonna meet me in debate, so he'll just take it down.
So Thug Nasty UFC is somebody to follow. He's a great fighter. He just won last fight I saw him in. He's 15-0. And
Thug
he's
Nasty?
Thug Nasty UFC.
Yeah, he seems like he's really into it.
Yeah.
That's good. And he's 15-0.
Yeah. And
you
he's
might
a little
actually hear
guy.
from him again.
He reminds me of our buddy Mike. Little guy, would not fuck with him, you know, and
Yeah.
just scrappy as shit. Watching him fight, I was like, dang, this guy can really fight like tooth and nail. And then and I watched the fight first, and then he got on the mic and super like humble, respectful, patriotic. And I was like, man, I've just been getting into fighting more and more and more and more and more. And it's like, it just feels good. Like country music. Now I'm listening to fucking country music.
Oh, welcome home.
You know, and it's like, just because it feels good, it makes you feel good.
Yeah,
and
it's true.
And instead of being like bombarded by all this negative shit all the time, now I'm having to consciously make the effort to bombard myself with not so negative shit.
Yeah. No, I'm all into the, frequencies and all that.
Yeah.
I used to love rap. I still do sometimes, but usually it makes me a little bit more aggressive.
Yeah.
You know, if
Yeah.
I'm rolling around listening to Young Jeezy, I might want to hurt you more than if I'm rolling around listening to, Morgan Wallen.
Right.
or
Kenny
something like
Chesney.
that. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and yeah.
And if
I don't even
here's
talk
what I
about
see
how
out,
old I am.
Yeah. Well, what I see out there too is like there's no people in the music industry that can even really say that, even though everyone kind of knows it, because they kind of get like blackballed if you're going against what people are making money on.
Yeah. Well, that's what it is you only make money on what people are spending the most money on. There's a reason that you hear the song on the radio 8 times an hour. It's not because it's a number one hit.
Right.
It's because it's being paid to be played the most.
That's
and
right.
then it becomes a number one hit because you hear it the most and you streamed it and you like, and
Yep.
all of a sudden, but it took money to get it to that point. And now
Right.
they're raking in the dough on something. Now we're sick of hearing it and it's too late.
Well, and it's like, so it used to take, back in our high school days, it was like 6 months for music to move from like LA to here.
Yeah.
Like kind of like maybe even a little bit before that, but like before the internet really took
Yeah.
foot where the music happened.
Oh, it was a big deal.
It took a while.
Yeah.
So if someone from LA came here, they dressed completely different. They listened to completely different music. Or if you
Yep.
went to LA,
Well, remember what it was like when East Coast, West Coast was like 2 totally different worlds? you know, and it was like, oh, fashion comes from the West Coast or the East Coast to the West Coast, but it's like a 2-year delay.
That's
or
right. I
whatever.
forgot about that.
You know what I mean? But now it's like everything is all on the same time.
Yeah. Like literally.
Yeah, literally. If a fashion
Everywhere.
show happens in France and it's important to the people, no matter what time zone or where they're at, they can watch it in time.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Just talking about fashion.
Well, and even kids. Imagine being a teen or 12, 13, and you're knowing everything as it's happening simultaneously as your parents even.
Right.
Right? Because you have access to the internet and the same kind of alerts, and they're on TikTok or whatever. That's immediately, if it's on the news, it's on all those other places too.
Yeah.
You know, and everyone knows everything all the time. There's no like, hey, what are we going to tell the kids?
Yeah.
You know, unless they're 5.
Yeah, how do we talk to the kids about
They
what's going
already
on in the
likely
world
know.
today? Yeah, they know about it. Their friends are talking about it. The schools are talking
Well, and they're being
about it.
politicized way earlier.
Yeah.
You know, like,
Politicized, sexualized.
well, in middle school, I know right here, at least from personal experience at one particular school, that they're playing, you know, the news during school for like, you know,
Wow.
up to an hour. And it'd be like CNN,
right.
you know. Why would middle schoolers be even? I didn't even really know. I didn't know the difference between Democrat. I didn't know Republican, Democrat, any of that.
Yeah.
Maybe that comes from home in our generation.
Right.
Now it starts at school. It seems like, or they're trying to start it now.
Yeah. Well,
Like-
because they're able to sway the kids. They're more impressionable.
Well, like
at
the
this younger
CNN
age.
Plus. Did you see how many? Like it was like billions that they lost
Oh, really?
because they tried to start this streaming platform. So I'm like, well, yeah, that makes sense. They're probably giving money to the schools, and they're also saying, but we want our show on.
Right.
You know, we want to start indoctrinating, you know, viewership,
Yeah.
let's say.
I think eventually it's going to stop working.
Yes, I think the kids are, honestly, they're more aware of things than we were at that age.
Man, I don't even know if it's that. If it's their fucking attention spans.
Well, I know that they're fucked. The attention spans are fucked.
It's terrible. The attention span of a gnat to try and have a 15, 20 minute. So you're saying they're sitting kids in front of a screen for an hour. That's not what they want to watch. That's news. Fucking, they're checked out within the first 45 seconds.
Yeah. Yeah.
No wonder they lost
But,
billions of
you know,
dollars.
when you have like, you know, when you get into like the frequency and sound, a lot of times it doesn't
True.
have to be absorbed. It can
Yeah.
be absorbed in another way. And we can even,
Well, they're still hearing it.
and there's an electromagnetic field that comes through the screen, and there's a way that they can affect your emotions.
Yeah.
You know, so I think that's what the news does. That's why it's kind of like negative. The same frequencies you can use in music, you know. Like I think
Yeah.
there's a famous Post Malone or Exonation, one of them talking about how they could make you feel any kind of way through their music based
Yeah.
on the frequency
using
they use
minor
recording it.
keys. You know, you use minor keys and it makes you feel sad, and you use major keys and it makes you feel anxiety.
Right, like in a
and-
movie, like the background sound.
Right. Oh yeah.
Even if the movie wasn't happening, you'd be getting
Fuck
chills.
a movie. Think about reality TV, right? Like all of a sudden the music starts being like, dun, 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 and you're like, this is stupid.
Man,
and like,
yes, that's so true.
Obviously, these people are dumb.
Big Brother does that shit the worst. It's like they have those little, you know, they're trying to like completely change the vibe of this
Right.
boring ass fucking show.
Right.
You know, I'm like, fuck. I
Big
hate
Brother
this
is
fucking
still
show.
on. That
Yes.
shit's as old as we are.
You know who was on that show? It was Tate.
Tate, I just
Yeah.
heard about that.
Yeah,
I learned
yeah.
about that. He was a like
I didn't.
person. Was it after he fought? During
I think it
his
was
fight?
in the youth. No, so I think he fought when he was younger. He was like a world champion kickboxer, and you don't really make a lot
because he didn't do UFC or anything like
No,
that.
and
right?
it was like prior to the UFC being like what it is now.
I want to see him fight. I wonder why he won't get it, because he
He's
doesn't need to.
the supposed fight that may happen that prior to him getting canceled, and this is why I think the full reason Jake is him and Jake Paul. But I know you don't really follow those dudes. Like you need
He
to
was
see.
talking shit about Jake Paul. You sent me a couple videos of Jake Paul, and you know I was like, yeah, he seems like an all right guy.
Well, and Tate was bringing up how apparently the brothers aren't even close, but they make it seem like they kind of play this role. And I've
Right.
seen an interview or a podcast on Impulsive with his brother on there, and you can almost tell.
yeah, that
It's
they're
not
not
like
feeling
if,
it.
when I show up and you're all happy. It's just like he's annoyed to be there.
Yeah,
It's just, you know, and I noticed it, but until Tate was pointing it out,
It had to be
and then
called
talking
out,
about
yeah.
Logan Paul being kind of a mouthpiece, I was like, damn. And I was even kind of caught up in it. It's just like watching a movie.
Yeah.
You're kind of believing what you're hearing when you're hearing it.
Oh, wait. Well,
and then
that's
it
just
takes
it.
a few days for you to digest it.
right.
unless you're just constantly getting new stuff, kind of
Bombarded.
like the news would do.
Well,
Breaking news. You
yeah,
know?
social media and everything. It's a constant bombardment of new craziness or new this,
Yeah.
new that.
When if you're bored for a split second, you find yourself in your phone. It's like in the middle of the night and you're in the cabinets and you're like, how'd I get here?
Right.
You know, why'd I
Yeah.
wake up with Dorito taste in my mouth?
Yeah, it is frustrating. I've actually been trying to take a break from the phone in general, just because I don't know. I might get off of like Instagram and all of that
Yeah.
shit. Figure out what's going to be new. What was Tate talking about?
It's like McConnect or it's like
I don't know. He's on this new social thing. He's got
Some.
almost 1 million followers already.
well, you have Rumble, which
Rumble.
That's
the one.
But there's this other one that he's on that you can talk directly to.
Oh,
people.
talk directly to him. That's
It's
right.
like Connect or something like
Yeah,
that.
he
Kind
did
of like
mention that.
Connect, but something.
Yeah, I'm gonna obviously finish that fucking.
It was
episode.
good. You know.
It is good. It's worth checking out.
Well, and it just brings up a lot of things that we all are talking about and think about that you don't hear on the mainstream media and the news.
Just to shout out what we're actually talking about, you can look for it on YouTube. It's the exclusive Andrew Tate uncensored interview with Patrick Bet David. Bet David. That's a weird hyphenation.
Yeah.
He's cool. He definitely
cool.
looks like mafioso.
Yeah. Yeah, it does.
He's got that New York mafia
And he's
air
like
about him.
pretty balanced. I've seen him on Rogan before. Like I said, I don't know everything about him, but he's got a pretty popular podcast.
Yeah.
And I like the way that they kind of just laid a 5-hour just boom. And I
Yeah.
mean, to defend yourself and explain the shit for 5 hours.
I feel like that was an easy 5 hours for them.
Easy. It could have been 10.
It could have been 10. He was probably the first podcast that he chose to be on, right? I don't know if he's
Yeah.
spoken out yet.
Well, he did do so he talked, I think a part of it, he mentions how he did a final video, which I did see.
Yeah, there's clips of it, but you can't find the actual video anymore.
Maybe I saw it like in time. I
You-
can't
you
remember
probably did 'cause you
where
follow
I saw
him.
it,
Yeah.
but it was like on some website or something.
Yeah.
It wasn't, maybe it was on Rumble.
Does he have his own website? I'm gonna have to check it out.
I'm sure by now, but
I'm
he
sure
even
he
said his
should.
bank accounts were frozen, millions of dollars.
Yeah, so okay. So here's where the conspiracy theorist comes out in me, because I start to hear this and I'm hearing it and all of a sudden I'm like, I'm being sold.
Yeah.
I start to get this feeling
'Cause you
that
like-
I'm being sold on something. Okay. Like now all of a sudden I feel like I'm watching an infomercial. He's been talking and he kind of, he gets points across and he circles back and reinforces and he circles back and reinforces. Right. So there's a lot of, back and forth on a lot of the stuff he's talking about. And I'm like, conspiracy. I wonder if he shut all his own shit down. You know what I mean? Because no one would know one way or the other.
That's true.
Right. So, I mean, or what is why do I have this that I'm being sold feeling right now? You know, because right now I'm like, fuck this guy. Let's get behind him. We need to jump on the bandwagon.
It's like too
buy
good.
his merch.
Yeah.
He's
No, that's
already
true.
got hundreds of millions of dollars, as
Yeah.
he says. But what can I do? He doesn't need my fucking help, right? Like he doesn't need anybody. He's already said it himself. So what? What's really going on about it?
Who knows?
Because he's Scott clean too.
Yeah, he is. He's
he's
like church boy
Scott
over
Clean.
there in was he in Romania or something?
Romania or
Something like that. Slovenia. I don't know.
Istanbul.
Something.
I don't know. He had that one
It
chick.
was some area that's apparently has like known for human trafficking.
Yeah, that's what he said. He's like, that's
What was like the old,
you get arrested for murder and human trafficking, basically.
because he's like, well, that's what you're known for here.
Yeah.
So they're sensitive about it.
Yeah, they don't want that. He's like, and that's why there was that one issue with the chick that said she was somewhere and didn't want to be, that got misconstrued and turned into like a kidnapping, and I think that was related to his raid.
The swatting,
when he got raided by or SWAT.
They
Whatever.
call it swatting in
Swatting.
the community. Gamers do it on each other. So let's say you lose an important, I don't know,
Like
Dungeons
match?
Dragons, whatever. You'll swat them. There's a whole documentary about
SWAT.
it.
I don't get it. Like
so you basically call in and say their address and that someone's being held against their will, and they get your door kicked in,
no
and then
shit.
you're live streaming when it happens.
What?
Yeah, because they time it well.
Oh fuck.
Yeah. So he got swatted, essentially, is
Yeah.
what you would refer to that
Okay,
as.
so there's a term for it.
Yeah.
So obviously that was
So when they call something in fake on you, they call it swatting.
fuck.
And these fools are all like little gamer
Do
pussy type
not
dudes.
have someone do that to us. This would not be a good
No.
place for SWAT to show
Don't
up.
swat us
This is an undisclosed location.
at Area 51.
That's right. Area 15, 51, and
Yeah.
420.
Oh man, Area 15 is its own thing over there in Vegas, but not in the desert,
Got it.
on the strip.
On the strip. Oh, that makes sense.
It's a dope ass spot. It's like a psychedelic lounge type of thing.
Speaking of psychedelics, I think it's about time for me to get some psychedelics in. I keep talking a big game. I've
Yeah.
got some chocolates that I
Oh,
got.
do you?
I got some chocolates. I got some good fungi that I want to test out. And I just been waiting for the right time.
Yeah, well, it's hard because it's all about the environment sometimes.
It's all about the environment. And for me, it's mindset. When like things aren't going 100% the way that I would want them to be going,
Yeah.
I really punish myself.
Yeah.
You know, so like I don't want to be in that mindset unless everything in my life is going good. You know, money in the bank.
I used to agree with that 100%.
Yeah.
But now I think that when I've taken them, just like, fuck it.
Yeah.
Right? I actually feel better. Now, not high doses.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say go eat 5 grams or even 3 of some of these stronger shroom strains.
Right.
But like a half a gram
Yeah.
of some really potent ones, maybe a gram.
Well, I think that's what I'm saying is I'm ready for like a good 5 gram, 7 gram trip.
Yeah,
I think
that's-
it's time to like go get freaky somewhere and just like
Man.
hallucinate.
And I don't know, maybe I'm getting old. I sound like these old heads talking about the weed these days. But like, it ain't like back in our day. You know, when I was in high school, if you ate an eighth, you wanted some more.
Yeah. True.
And now I
That's
can
why we always make
promise
tea.
you ain't gonna want more. I ate a gram and I felt like I ate 5 grams. I'm like
Okay.
tripping.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's just stronger shrooms, you know,
It's got to be stronger.
better environment, you know, whatever.
Grown better, too.
Grown better,
Yeah.
like we were saying about the
Back
weed.
when we were kids, they were farming it off of cow shit around here in the valley.
Well, they were never like stocks, like huge stocks.
Mm-hmm.
Now the stuff is just so big and chunky. I'm like, look how healthy these shrooms are.
And it's not grown on cow shit.
Right.
It's grown
Right.
from spores in
Yeah.
a sterile environment with nowhere near any shit. I love it.
You know, I would be fine if it was on the shit.
I mean, I'm okay with it.
I might feel a little
but
bit
we
more
don't
like
have-
Indian, you know, Native
Right.
American.
Native American. That's right. Oh, man. I'll edit that. Fuck that. I'm not editing it.
Don't edit me.
Fuck that shit. This is unscripted, unedited, you assholes.
Yeah.
You get enough of our money at the casinos as it is.
Man, you
I'm
know
not
why they
gonna
have
go
those
into that.
casinos over there? Did we talk about the
We
Tulare
kind of
Lake?
touched. That's something we could have. We need to make it its own segment.
All right.
Is the we'll go with the Tulare Lake. Google it, folks, or refer back to episode 1. We did.
It's just
touch on
weird
it.
that you could grow up here your whole life and not know something
Dude.
about the area, is all.
Yeah. Well,
Not
it's
that
just
it's-
funny what they want you to know and focus on.
Right. It's like very selective
Right.
teaching.
Yeah.
You know, here's our history.
Yeah.
Or
Well,
I never really cared about history, so maybe they did teach it one day that I wasn't
one
paying
day.
attention.
Yeah.
You know?
that we ditched for
Yeah. Yeah, that we were getting high or something.
getting high somewhere. Yeah, exactly. Definitely, if we weren't and in class, we were getting high somewhere.
Well, yeah, we definitely were. Probably at my
Definitely
house
Yeah,
because
we could.
Yeah, there wasn't too much blowout.
20 feet away from my house,
I remember,
where like evil
we definitely
was
weren't
looming.
smoking in your house.
Definitely not smoking in
Yeah,
my house.
At mine, it was like I remember a few times 10 of us would be in there, and I realized that my mom got off at 2:10, and it was like 2:05, and I'm like pulling the emergency ejection, you know,
Yeah.
kicking the windows out, like motherfuckers, you better
Right.
leave now. And the house is smoked out.
Oh yeah.
I mean, there's no airing it out. There's not time for that. It's just time to like jump out, pull your chute, and drive
Get out.
off.
And when you come home, I mean, maybe a couple guys at lunch, right?
She's just going to be happy that no one's there.
There, yeah.
Right? Hey, if I can clear this house, they will fix it all. Throw the windows open. I'm leaving too. Like I'm going back to campus.
God bless your mom. She tolerated a lot.
Yeah, she did.
I think it was funny because when we were younger, she thought I was going to be the bad influence, or I think I was considered the bad influence when like
maybe
we were younger.
I don't know,
13, 14, and then
I think all parents are kind of feel like that.
Yeah, well, it wasn't me, and it wasn't. My parents loved you. No, not all parents are like that. Are you fucking kidding me? My parents love the shit out of you.
Well, like for instance, I had like freshman year, I remember having a friend that I hung out with all the time, played basketball with, and we would get in trouble at school because we were just like rambunctious and talk shit in a lot of the same classes. And then his parents acted like I was the bad influence, where we would go to his house and we could cuss. They would we'd sneak out every night, like there was like no one watching us, you know? And so that's why I went over there.
That's the moral of the story is I wasn't the bad influence. You had a lot of other bad influential friends.
That's true.
Not
but
me.
This was a little after our stuff.
Yeah.
This was freshman year. So you might still have been a bad influence back then. All it was is just two guys together start being
that's all it is.
Right?
Yeah.
That's all it is. It's just two dudes bored with no fucking iPhones.
Right.
No,
well, I was just gonna say I miss those days because
whatever.
all we did was fucking run around, throw water balloons in the summertime, fucking shoot BB guns in the wintertime and paintball guns. Like we didn't even really get in trouble. We weren't out there like
Well, there's nothing to do.
Jacking cars.
The only trouble you really can get in around here is on drugs, and it takes a while.
Right. That's a buildup. It's a
build-up.
snowball effect.
It's like when someone ODs. It isn't like they just started doing drugs 2 weeks ago, unless we're talking about fentanyl.
Yeah.
And that's a whole different category.
Have you seen the new like Skittle looking color fentanyl pill? Like now, I just saw it, and it was like probably on Alexa, but there was like multicolored. It looked like Skittles fentanyl. Basically, it was like it looked like E. You have white and blue and this and that and whatever. So I'm guessing now they're dosing fentanyl out.
Well, they've been dosing it out, and it's been, I think, preferred.
Like people are doing this intentionally.
Yeah, they're doing it intentionally. Now there's a market because they've pulled back the supply. There's no more candy doctors, or it's been restricted massively. So that's how fentanyl is now slid in, and it's cheaper.
And fentanyl is like a narcotic, like doctor narcotic, right? Prescribed is.
Yeah, and then you have like fentanyl. You have carfentanil, which is like for animals you weigh by the ton. So
okay, like elephants.
Yeah, like rhinos, fentanyl or whatever,
So it's like tranquilizer.
I'm sure. Yeah, at that level, I imagine. I don't like. They say I've heard it's like a pepper flake is like the overdose amount.
Yeah.
So
that's crap.
That's how do you? No wonder.
Why do you want to be that high?
I don't know. Have you seen that show Euphoria?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
I think that show sums up drugs pretty well.
It's weird. I felt like I lived part of that show. Like there was just a lot of things you could resonate in a show like that.
Yeah.
It was weird.
Yeah.
But it was a good show.
Yeah. There was, I felt like the penis to boob ratio was a little off, but, there was enough boob to.
On Euphoria?
Yeah. Did you watch season 2?
Yeah.
There was
there was a lot of dicks.
Dick in season 2.
I don't know.
A lot of dick in season 2.
I'm like, I think I'm just remembering maybe season 1 where the chubby one.
Season 1 was the best season. Season 2
doing
got
like
weird.
Pornhub type shit, basically.
Oh God, yeah. I mean, it was all borderline porn.
Yeah.
Every single episode. Was
and the one girlfriend,
porn.
the crazy one, the blonde one with the big ass tits.
Yeah.
I'm like, why are you portraying these broads as like teenagers? First off,
dude, tell me, I'm like, can we at least?
I'm supposed to think this is a teenager.
They want the kids to believe that that's how teenagers are acting.
Yeah.
When kids are old enough to watch that or do watch it or whatever, they're like, they're how
watching it.
High schoolers are actually acting.
It's funny because with mine, she's more like, that's not really appropriate for me. She'll tell me. because
Good.
she knows
Yeah. Well,
what
that's
she's
good.
into or not.
Yep.
And I think when you're restricted from stuff, it's like, well, what is it?
Oh my gosh.
Right? That's our generation. It's like the peek over the counter because you're kind of ducking down, where they're more like, let me duck down
Yeah.
because I don't want to necessarily be involved.
I think that's one takeaway that I had from my childhood was because I was sheltered in a few different ways. When I turned 18 and I gained that actual freedom, I moved away. And it wasn't even until I turned 18, moved away to Washington, lived with my dad, went to jail, and then like figured my life out after all that, and then had that freedom like 19, 20. And I didn't figure my life out, needless to say, until I was
you didn't?
30. But figured some shit out enough to have freedom at that age. And like you make all sorts of crazy decisions at that point. But then you're roped into like, now you got fucking bills.
Yeah.
And then once you get roped into that, now you're in the rat race.
Well, that's like the Matrix. Like Tate
Now
talks
you're in the
about.
Matrix.
You're in the Matrix.
Now you're in the fucking Matrix.
I had a good job for 13 years, and it was basically that type of Matrix that normally, luckily I started at 19. So by 32, I was like, this kind of sucks.
Yeah.
This thing that everyone acted like was good is miserable as fuck.
Mm-hmm.
And it's almost like, it's funny when you see like poor ass people. They're actually the happiest, some of the happiest people,
That's right.
right? Rich people aren't the happiest. Poor people are. The middle's like the slave system,
right.
So you've got like,
because
this,
the poor people are living off government most of the time, at least here in America.
I'm talking like third world, like
okay, you're
off
third
the
world,
land
yeah.
where you don't even know hardly a lot of the shit. So you're happier.
Yeah.
You don't have so much to worry about.
Less
your
worries.
survival is you got enough water, you got enough food, like
Right.
I can sleep good.
Right.
We can't sleep good because we're getting up to eat.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's
like the complete opposite.
Yeah. Yeah. No.
Sorry, a little side tangent.
Yeah. No, that's fine. Knowing what's. Yeah.
I know I brought us off. Where was the?
What were we talking about? Did you?
I got pretty high off that off those two joints. That one was like a pinner. You called it perfect.
Yeah. No, that was good though.
It was good.
God, what were we talking? Oh, the Matrix. So we were just talking about
yeah.
the Matrix
Right.
and kind of getting out of the Matrix.
Yeah,
feel like
I was
that's-
talking about basically working and how when you're stuck in it, it's
Yes.
a bitch.
Yeah.
So once you're out, the first time I was out was like baby bonding. The second time was COVID,
Yeah.
where everyone was out.
Yep.
And then I think a lot of people realized like either they could do their job from home or they could do their school from home. Like there's hours of their day that they're giving up that necessarily they don't have to trade. Like the most valuable thing you have, which is your time.
That's right. Yeah, you can trade anything for anything but more time.
Yeah,
you
you never get
more
time.
time. Yeah. Yeah,
And we're
and
trading it all week.
yeah.
I mean, not us, specifically, but the majority of us.
Yeah.
And we're brought up through school to kind of accept that.
Well, and school does train you to, just go right out and join the workforce because that's what you go to college for, to
Right.
start a career. And you're in debt. So now you have this pressure hanging over you.
Yeah.
Because if you don't pay your debt, then your life is terrible and you're a bad person.
Yeah, and you may not get your Social Security.
Yeah.
And,
in 80
and Biden,
years.
well, don't worry, Biden will take 10 grand or what is it, 20 grand? What are they
10,
saying?
I think 10 grand got
I'm like,
taken
people
out.
that I know that have student loans, like 10's not going to help.
Yeah, I think my sister went to school. She got her master's. Way to go for everything that she accomplished, but it cost a lot, like $160,000.
Yeah, it's a
And
lot.
that's a lot of pressure. That's a house.
Yeah.
And I haven't even bought a house yet. They've got a house, which is fucking cool.
Yeah.
We're thinking about. We're finally starting to think about bridging or crossing that bridge
Yeah. Well,
at 40.
yeah, I'm trying to remember when my parents we rented forever when I was younger. And then we finally, I think I was like Well, when we moved on to college, so
Was
probably-
college rented or owned?
It was owned.
Okay.
There was 2 houses for sale on the street. One was like a HUD home, and one was a little bit nicer.
Yeah.
So the Rochelle's house was the HUD home. So they
Okay.
got that one and the other one. So they got the pick, I guess. Kinda.
Gotcha.
So we ended up with the other house.
Yeah, they were a little older then, huh? So they were probably
Yeah.
in their 40s.
Yeah, I think they were probably around that.
I think my parents were in their 40s. Yeah, I'm excited to do that. That's going to be an adventure. I think we're going to get a plot of land and then build.
Yeah, that's the ideal scenario.
Yep.
Not buying one squeezed in right next to 2 other people.
Fuck that. Where we rent right now, we have one neighbor and then space, which is really nice. So I couldn't give that up.
Yeah, you guys are kind of out in a good little spot.
Yeah. I couldn't go to a more suburban. That's for damn sure. I want more rural.
Yeah, you think your ring's going off all the time? Fuck.
Yeah. I
With your
want
one neighbor.
Yeah.
My neighbor's out there setting that fucker off 90 times a day.
Oh, fuck that. Yeah. Well, and you live on a cul-de-sac, which you'd think would be better, but it's not.
No, I know. All these fucking homeless vagrants come down there, and I gotta nicely escort them off the street.
Sometimes with a 12 gauge.
Never. Maybe your flashlight, you know?
Flashlight.
Flash.
That'll do.
That'll do. Damn, I didn't even think about. I also got some diamonds and stuff that were part of my little gift package, but I didn't even bring them because I'm a dumbass.
I still have diamonds.
Yeah, I figured you might have a couple laying around.
Go figure. Speaking of diamonds, I've got a new project I'm going to start working on once I finish this one, where I'm just going to start. I want to start mining THCA in bulk, right? So I can consult for some of these bigger guys that are doing this and have a easier way to just get the THC. If your end goal is diamonds or THCA, or you know what I mean, not necessarily terps, because Lord knows there's plenty of terps to flavor diamonds with out there, right? But if you just want to get a big bag of fucking diamonds,
Just all THCA.
all THCA,
No terps.
Yep. So I'm going to do some small scale testing, and then hopefully I can get some of my partners that I work with to do some large scale testing, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, I love that THC powder.
Which is what we're going to smoke right now.
Super. What do you call it when you can go in everything? Versatile.
Versatile. It's
Yeah.
like tofu,
Yeah.
but it gets you really
It's
high.
like, oh, this joint might not do it. Boom, little like, bam,
Yeah. Bam.
bam, like emerald.
Yeah. Was it Emerald that
It's
did the
Emerald.
bam thing? Okay.
Sorry, I was trying to think of it, and then I'm like, well, I might as well just go with the bam.
Yeah, let's go.
You know, and maybe it'll come.
I figured we'd load some of that up. I'm kind of ready for something a little bit harder.
Yeah, I've been drinking. Well, all right. So I felt like the last couple times, I was like starting off with 9% beer. So within 15 minutes, I was already pretty fucked up. So I was like, maybe I should just drink some normal beer.
Normal beer, yeah.
You know, the other day I was drinking and I was like, yeah, this would probably be a good state to be in a podcast where I'm not just fucking hammered immediately.
Right. Not
Yeah.
hammered, but not too hammered.
And when you can hear yourself so clearly, you start to hear even when your own voice starts to go.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
You know, when your tongue swells up.
very
and your teeth
hyper aware.
get real tight.
Yeah.
You know, they shrink down.
Yeah. Why are my teeth heavy right now?
Yeah, you're
It's
like,
so
man,
weird.
I can't keep my tongue off my teeth.
You know, and that's why we need a young Jamie like fucking
Yes.
Rogan has. That's
Man.
not drinking. That's over here to the side, like, you guys were talking about it.
Yes.
Thank you.
Look.
Thank you.
Future young Jamie of ours.
Yes. Preach.
I'm just saying, you know, if you love weed and you love great opportunities,
If you just want to come and hang out with a couple real guys,
yeah,
and you know,
if you
and you
like
know
to
your
en-
shit,
if you know your shit and you like to enjoy yourself, you know, send us an email.
So I haven't opened this for 2 years.
Oh, is this the special bottle?
This is a special bottle.
Sorry, I was seeing it, but I was so caught up in my visualization of how fucked up we would be if we had someone else here to steer the ship. You know, it's like being on a cruise.
That's
cruise
what
ship.
you were saying.
Yeah.
Okay, now I'm on board.
That's all I was saying. That's all. Someone else could be responsible.
That's what we need.
We just could just be.
Yeah.
We know when we start talking about something, they're already looking it up.
Oh man, we'll totally redesign the set. We'll call it. This is the set. We'll totally redesign it.
Yeah. Well, it feels like it's bigger without your table in here, even though
Yeah.
it's on the ground.
Well, I feel like
But
we
from
could
here,
get
I
a
can't
couple of
see any of
couches
that.
in here. Like if I took everything out of this room,
It's pretty big.
it's big, right?
It's big.
And then the only thing about that is it's also my office. So,
I know. I'm
you
talking
know,
about it's like a birthday party zone.
Right.
I'm like, yeah, there's all kinds of room. We could put balloons and streamers over here, pizzas over here.
And look, we can put the pool table right there. There'll be plenty of room.
Yeah.
Foosball
Playboy
right
posters
here.
all on this side.
The Pamela Anderson,
Yeah.
1976.
Yes. Like Cartman's room. know?
I keep opening this box because I'm so excited. Let me talk about this.
All right. Let's hear about it.
All right. So this was given to me by my dad a couple of years ago. I can't remember. I think it was Father's Day. But it's a 12-year, so which makes it now 14 years. Single malt Scotch whiskey. So it's from Scotland. Has to be actually from Scotland to be Scotch whiskey.
Okay.
Right?
Okay. So if it's just because it says Scotch on the bottle, that doesn't make it.
And if it's not,
They might be fronting.
correct. If it's not, just like
Check the label.
just like champagne has to be from
France.
Champagne, France, right?
right.
They can be bubbly or whatever the fuck they
Sparkling
call them.
wine.
Sparkling wine.
I do
right?
know this.
Yes. Now this is double casked. I have no idea what that means, but let's just read it from top to bottom.
All right.
Established 1824, the Macallan Highland single malt Scotch whiskey, 12 years old, double cask, matured exclusively in the perfect balance of hand-picked, sherry-seasoned American and European oak casks. Ooh, that sounds good. Sherry-seasoned.
It kind of reminds me of when I'm reading the cigar reviews. It's like always the best. I'm like, whoever writes these must be getting paid.
Yeah.
These things make you want to buy every one of them.
We need to find one of those people to write our like synopsis
Yes,
to make
yes.
us sound a lot cooler than
Yes,
we really
do.
are.
We do.
All right. All right. Hand me
look-
your glasses. I'll take that.
There's this. Can we take a little break before we?
Oh, yep.
do
We'll
this?
take a break time. All right. Well, here's where the show goes sideways.
Hold on. All right, I'm ready.
All right. Hand me those glasses there.
Okay.
Good, sir.
You know, you can't set me up to be reaching between stuff, and I'm like Ferdinand.
You have one job to hand me those glasses when it's time for shots.
Okay. All right, I could do that.
Ooh, this is cool. Look, it's got like a sticker like the vapes have,
Oh, it's got a
like a hologram.
damn.
It's all official.
It feels sexy.
Yeah, it's got that. It feels like a female body, right?
Yeah,
You
yeah,
kind of
look
just
at
want to
it.
like rub it.
You know, she's kind of flat, but maybe she's got her dress on still. That's why. It's all.
Yeah, or is that like the booty right there?
Oh,
it's
see.
a bit badonkadonk.
See, I thought I was like,
Oh yeah, I could see.
I was thinking,
Yeah, getting all hornified from my whiskey bottle.
yeah. At least you don't live too far, so.
My wife will be sleeping by the time I get home. Oh shit, that smells good.
Really? Let me smell.
Oh yeah.
Let me smell the cork.
You want the cork? Here.
Yeah.
What am I doing?
Let's see. Smells good.
I'm a big Hennessy fan, and I like the real expensive Hennessy when I buy Hennessy. And this smells very similar.
Yeah, I'm not really a Hennessy fan because in high school, some of my friends like to drink Hennessy and Hypno a lot. Neither of which I could afford or any other drink, so I had to drink whatever they got. And I think it was a baller drink at the time, but
Hennessy and Hypnotic, huh?
Yeah.
Ugh.
The Incredible Hulk.
Hennessy is just fine on its own.
I used to be like,
The
this is
Incredible
terrible.
Hulk.
yeah.
That's not good.
It did.
That doesn't sound
It
incredible.
did the job.
I'm sure.
The greener, the stronger, I think is what they used to say.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Yep. Now is when the show goes sideways.
Take a deep breath for this.
Yeah. Think about what we're going to talk about next.
I like that a lot better than that Knob Creek over there.
Yeah.
Way better.
Wow. Well, and the Knob Creek is like what's hot right now. But this is amazing. I think the price difference also speaks for itself. I haven't
This is
priced,
so smooth.
but whew.
When we drank that one, I was still, I think, scarred from my Jameson night that I had.
It doesn't taste like Jameson though.
No, but it just,
It's the okay, so
it's the
bourbon-y
coating.
part. The bourbon has that. It's like a syrupy, textury
Yeah,
something.
like
I don't know
mouth
what it
coating.
is. Yes, bourbon
Yeah.
does that to me as well.
Which is fine with a nice cigar.
Yeah, that would be nice.
It kind of offsets it, is all it is. Like I never catch myself drinking anything like this normally, like too often. But I don't buy bottles of whiskey like to sip. If I bought that bottle of whiskey, my wife would be like, "What the fuck?" I could get away.
I don't
with,
buy that shit either. Don't get me wrong.
Well,
I guess I bought the Knob Creek.
I see 2 bottles.
I
right
bought
here.
the Knob Creek.
No, it was for. Yeah, you already had the Knob Creek before this even started.
No, I did. I bought the Knob Creek for this.
Okay.
Yes, I did. And then
The other one was a gift.
the other
right?
one was a gift from a couple years ago. I keep my bottles around for a while.
Well, sometimes you have people in the family or people that overdo it, like in our lives and stuff. So if I was just drinking bottles of whiskey or like that, that would be a problem.
Right.
Now, I could drink some beer and that would be fine.
True.
But it is also a different effect.
Well, I also feel like you have such a fine palate that when you're like, okay, I'm drinking whiskey now, you're going to start drinking the expensive whiskey,
That's
a
true.
bottle a day.
That's true. Right. Yeah.
Not
It might-
sipping.
Right. I may not. Yeah.
Well,
I
maybe
may-
sipping, but
maybe start sipping. But yeah, I just think it's a dangerous path sometimes. Like there's obviously alcoholism in a lot of families, including mine.
yes.
I grew up never seeing my dad drink, virtually never.
Yeah.
So
Which is crazy because I know he was drunk.
I don't know. I don't know if it was liquor.
Was he? Oh, okay, maybe that's what it was.
I
right.
think he was just,
Inebriated off of
yeah, whatever they took back
his
then in the
thing
80s.
of the time was. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my God.
And then maybe, you're still
Let's
taking
bring
it.
him in here.
Hey.
Let's bring him and my dad in here.
We should. Man.
Next Father's Day,
Oh my God.
they're coming in, and then Mother's Day we'll bring in the moms and the wives. That'd be cute.
Well, the funny thing is, both of them, I don't know. I don't know if that would be a wave that grows or a wave that crashes. I don't know. I can't think of
Either
the
way,
name you
it'll be
call that.
epic. It'll be epic.
That's like having Alex
A
Jones on.
tsunami.
Yeah, you're just like, you don't know how it's about to go. but-
You've got a immovable object, or what is it? Unstoppable force
Yeah.
versus an immovable
yeah.
object.
My dad, he would be too paranoid to even converse. He'd start getting into shit.
He'd be like, "Wait, this is being recorded.
Yes.
This is going to go on the internet."
Yeah, he wouldn't sleep for a week afterwards.
All of a sudden, all my shit would disappear.
Yeah. He'd be like, 18 cars were driving by my house. I got pictures of them. And then,
I haven't seen these cars before.
Yeah, and then he pulls up the picture. It's like all blurry. Can't see nothing. You're like, shit.
His brand new iPhone,
Yeah.
he still can't
I'm
get
like,
a
I'm gonna
good
put
picture.
a ring on your house, and then I know every car that drives by.
You haven't done that yet?
Well, if I had an extra one laying around.
Yeah. Rings
But-
are so awesome.
Paranoid people don't always like cameras all over their house either.
Yeah. Well, you know what I decided is if anybody wants to know anything, they know it. Right? It doesn't matter if you have a camera or not. It doesn't matter if you have a cell phone or not. Like if you talk out loud, it's being recorded somewhere or the other.
Yeah.
And if somebody wants information, like law enforcement or anything wants information on you, they're going to get it.
Yeah.
Privacy, Freedom of Information Act screwed all of that shit
Which is
up.
scary because when it's basically what you're kind of saying is like almost nothing matters,
Nothing matters.
right? And when nothing
Nothing-
matters, things get a little hairy. When that's the mentality where people coming from, it's like, hey, regardless,
So
this
here-
is being heard or seen.
Yeah.
If they, you know, like you said, if they want to be.
Yeah. Well, nothing matters and everything matters.
Right.
All at the same time. But if you always behave in such a way that you're always being watched, which I feel like I was kind of raised that way, like you should, you know, like think about like I always come back to making the bed just because it's just a simple example, but you should make your bed like no one's watching. You know, you should do this like no one's watching, right? You should, you know, talk about your wife like no one's watching, right? Like,
Yeah.
and that's how it should be all the time, or
Right.
like, but
Right.
or like someone's like, you
Yeah,
know
I
what
knew
I
what
mean?
you
Like
meant.
someone's
Yes,
watching,
like
yeah.
someone's
Fuck, I
watching.
fucked
Yeah,
that
no,
up
it's
8
all right.
times,
I didn't
but you know
wanna-
what I mean?
It was flowing, you know. I was like,
It still went
we'll
right.
get it right at the end right now. Yeah, like someone's always watching.
Yeah,
You know?
and if you, I mean, and you do that, and then you realize that, and it's like even when you're being nefarious, like,
It's true. Well, I feel like, you know, when you do things, when you come from a good place, and I didn't always used to believe this, but I've started in my older age to think, you know, when you do things and you're coming in from an honest place in your heart, the universe is going to work in your favor more.
Right.
You know, when you're doing all the things right, you're checking all those boxes. You start to
truthfully
notice.
and honestly,
Right.
when you can look yourself in the mirror and be like, okay, now I've finally figured this out.
Right. You know, even whether it's, you know, abstaining from alcohol or drugs or, you know, different things.
Yeah.
You know, it's different for everybody. Mm-hmm. You know, but
Yeah, once you get that like key, then it unlocks other things in the future too.
yeah, well, it's like kind of like manifesting, you know, it's kind of in the realm of that type of stuff, even though I don't like to label it because a lot of people have different definitions of what all these, you know, different kind of spiritual terms mean. And
Yeah.
they get real specific.
Yeah.
And it's kind of more of a misty area. you
Well,
know?
and coming back to a second ago where we were talking about nothing matters, and I think if we take that and use it in our life like more, like a lot of shit doesn't really matter. Social media, what's going on in the media, what's going on in the world, doesn't really matter for your fucking bubble, my bubble. All that really matters is when I go to bed at night, did I do everything that I wanted to do today? And,
Yeah,
and
because you're
did I
getting
do a
ready to
good
turn
job?
off your signal for the night, and you may not come back.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
I mean,
Yeah.
we're basically a spirit having or what is it? A spirit having a human experience.
Yeah.
Not a human having or.
Yeah, one of those.
I don't know,
I
you
know
know,
what you're saying. No, I know. I've
but
heard that
it's a-
before. I know exactly. Yeah, we're having. Yeah, we are spirits having a human experience. That's
Right.
why we're here, is to have this human experience
You know, in this form.
in this form and experience pain and joy and
Man.
all of the things.
I just talking about pain and experience and all that. Have you heard of that new movie Father Stew? Mark Wahlberg's in it. I think it's on
I love me some Marky Mark.
HBO or Hulu. One of these, Prime. One of those.
I'll pirate it for free.
Yeah. Well, you can always log into my account. We'll share these. Anyone
it's
else out there want to borrow my email?
If
let
it's
me know.
HBO, I don't have that one.
I got that for you. I got them all.
Okay,
Yeah, don't
I'll,
worry.
I'll buddy system.
Yeah,
that
we're
one.
gonna start sharing. I'm gonna be like, all right, look, I got 18 of them. You're gonna get 9, and I'm gonna get 9.
That's right.
But it does add up, especially when you're paying for normal cable and internet, and you have all the things.
Well, because you convince yourself that the cable TV, okay, I'll scratch off the cable TV, but then I'll just have the subscription services
Right.
that I want.
And then when you add your cable back, you don't want to get rid of all those.
Well, because
$200
the
in
subscription
subscription
service
services.
didn't fill because you're not getting the full Monty with just the subscription service, so then you need cable.
Yeah. So for me, I get the full Monty. For my wife, there's certain shows that they only come on TV, or it's
Yeah.
harder to find. And you know, girls, they're not always as technologically
I do
inclined.
not know girls.
You don't, yeah, right.
But they're not technologically inclined.
They're not. So
If there's one thing I do know.
even though they could, you know, just speak into their phone, like, how do I do this?
No, I'm that.
Right. I do that to you. Right. I guess they could set their phone down and they come and tell their husband, like,
Yeah.
And then you do that on your phone.
That's exactly.
It's like my whole life, my sister, every time her shit's fucked up, she's like, calls me. I'm like, I guarantee you've Googled 900 other things.
Yeah.
You know, you could also Google like stuff about your phone.
Right.
It would learn.
Your phone basically does it all for you anymore.
It's gotten better and easier to use. You don't have to like plug it into your computer to back it up or any of that shit like we used to.
Yeah, it's awesome. I can't believe I fought the iPhone thing for so long.
They're
I didn't
nice.
remember what we were just talking about, but I want to talk about the cloud is fucking fabulous.
Don't you love how you can just
we
pull
were
it up?
talking about the nothing matters because everything they can figure everything out anyways. The only
Yes.
thing I want to hit home, on a point with that nothing matters is what matters is our own bubbles, right?
Right.
That we do the best that we can do. So we end our days, begin our days doing the best that we can do. And like you were saying, if it has good intention, right? Sometimes intention's not quite enough. Like there has to be the action behind it. But if there's action with good intention behind it, then the universe is going to reward you.
Yeah.
One
well,
way or the other, it's fucking proven.
it just takes, give yourself 6 months.
Right.
That's the problem. We're
What-
all been strung out on this 2-week check from work that we've learned like, hey, I need that paycheck. Well,
Man,
yeah, you do.
This has been going on generations. They want
Right.
things now. Like our parents used to get roped into that's how the pyramid scheme started, right? The get
Yeah.
rich quick,
Right.
Oh, look, it worked for so-and-so. It worked for so-and-so. Well, yeah, because you bought their Kool-Aid and you're buying their Kool-Aid. No wonder they're rich, right? And that's been happening and happening and happening and happening.
Yeah. Well, and two, so you get to a teenage age. School's pretty much already got you mentally thinking way different than your parents. And then you graduate, and then you're like, I'm just trying to get out of this house and get hired.
Yeah.
At least, because you're at school getting nothing for your time.
Right.
So you're like, I'm just gonna get whatever dog shit job
I know I'm
can
good
get.
enough to get a job.
At least the worst job out there, I can
Yeah.
get that. And then you go, hopefully you don't have a $400 car payment yet because you're not going to be able to afford your apartment.
Right.
No one around here probably ever will again because the rent's so fucking high.
Shit.
In fucking agriculture town, Central California.
Right.
What is it in other places?
This is little LA, is
Yeah.
what they think, even
Yeah.
though it's Republican demographic. But the freaking bougie ass SUV moms around here think they live in LA.
Well, they're all from LA because they sold their 1.1.
Yeah.
And they came and bought a 5.4.
Right.
And they still had 200
True.
in the bank.
You're right. They're from some coastal area. You're absolutely fucking right.
They sold their house for 2 to 5.
Yep.
And maybe 10 years ago,
Yeah.
20 years ago. I remember growing up here and my dad complained about this all the time.
Yeah. It's a good area though. You just have to do it. It's got gives and takes.
When we go over here down the street to Exeter, you won't see not one homeless person there.
Yeah.
It's like zombies here compared to there.
Yeah.
Like when we're down there at
Even downtown Exeter, it's kind of like run down downtown Exeter.
you just got to be down, bro. It is. It's just like it looks very similar to ours, but the people there is what makes it.
Everybody-
It's super family, like friendly oriented.
That's where everybody says we should start looking for
That's where
property.
it's at. And then it got ranked in the top 100 cities in California, like probably 5 years back.
No shit.
Yeah, and anyone that has cash and can afford to be there is there. The houses over there are going for 100 to 150 on top of the extra 100 that all the houses have been going for
Yeah,
around
fuck
here.
that. See, I just want a plot of land and I want to build my fortress.
Well, and there probably is plots because it's kind of
yeah,
you
but
know.
you're gonna end up paying $250,000 probably for anything decent size, and I think that's fucking asinine.
yeah. I mean, if you're gonna pay like that, you might as well go up higher up, like Isham Valley, like
If I'm gonna pay $250,000, there better be a house on it.
yeah.
But that's the thing here in
A lot-
Visalia.
or get what if you got like 4 mountaintops?
Well, that
And you
would be
could throw
awesome.
like a badass double, triple wide trailer. That's what they do.
Yeah, well, that's what I would. Well, I would
mean,
bring
or-
the camper
or a
up, start with
$1
a
million
camper, and then build from the ground up.
Yeah.
Start with a well, put some solar panels up, get some fucking power.
Yeah.
And then have our camper out there, and then just fucking start building.
Yeah, I follow some Instagram accounts. It's like the mountain house farm something. And
I don't want to be in the mountains though. I want to be close to.
yeah, but they're
close
just
to the
like
hub.
basically like off grid, self-sustaining.
Yeah. Have you seen that show? It's like it's on Discovery Plus or something like that. My wife watches it, so I end up watching it too. But it's like they're
Like
like
they live
survival.
off-grid?
Yeah, they live off the grid, I think is actually what it's called.
Oh, maybe I've heard that. It was
yeah.
just in my subconscious.
And it's basically like it's like 90 Day Fiance and all those other ones, but couples get together and like one will go way off into the boonies where this dude or chick lives off the grid. Looks terrible. It does not look fun.
You know, mine. Have you seen Alone? I think it's on. It's probably on Netflix.
Is it like a show or a movie? Or?
It's a survival show, and they get dropped off by themselves.
Yeah, no.
And they don't tell them how long.
I watch like when I'm home watching TV, I watch like scripted shit. But otherwise, I'm like home working, and my wife will be watching stuff.
Yeah. So Cassie's the one that watches Alone. And
then my wife needs to probably start watching it.
That's what I was just thinking. It's kind of in that realm.
Yeah.
Even though it's not on Discovery, it sounds like the same kind of shit.
Yeah, well, we stream everything one way or the other.
Yeah,
so
do we. Even though we have TV. half the time you can't find the remote to even get to that part, and it's quicker to just go do it from your phone. But, you know, they make you call in to cancel.
And then they upsell you. You end up off of that cancellation call, bought 3 things.
I'm like, so I got to wait 10 minutes on hold or longer and speak to someone.
You can't do it online? You can't press the cancel button online?
No.
Fuck.
You got to call.
That's lame.
Yeah.
Fuck
But they
you,
don't have
Xfinity.
contracts anymore for the Xfinity, which that's about the only good thing. You can stop whenever you want.
Say goodbye to contracts.
They say
that. All right, let's smoke some isolate.
All right. Let's get isolated.
Isolated. Ooh. I'm stealing that.
So I was listening to that podcast of Tate's today. And I was like, you know what? I want to start wearing certain shirts. Like I should have I could have a shirt. I could even have Cassie make me a shirt, you know, that says something on it. And I'm like, that's probably what these podcasters do. I'm going to put my ear to the mic.
All right, remember, don't tilt it.
Okay.
Straight up and down.
Don't pull it back.
There it is. I did the same thing. Damn it. You feel like you can hear it better, right?
It's like you see the other person putting the
Right.
noise.
So you're like, oh.
You're like, is it coming out of here?
It's like the string cans when we were kids, right?
I'm like, oh.
God damn it.
It's just a wireless connection.
It's so smooth. And the cool thing about it is you don't blow out a huge puff of smoke, but you feel it.
Yeah.
I put a lot in there, so it's gonna go for a while. Oh, that's good stuff. What's risque that we haven't talked about?
What is going on?
I just want to keep talking about that Andrew Tate shit,
Dude,
man.
well, and we could even maybe like listen to a little bit of it, and I'm sure that would give us a.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know about the copyrights and all that shit, though.
Well, even what if we cut it out?
Oh yeah, we could edit it a little bit and then talk about something.
I think it's the volume that you have to kill. I'm not saying that we still need to hear
It's
it.
probably in my history, right where I left off. We'll just play it and then go from there.
Okay.
And Shaq's at the MGM Grand Arena. We're having a conversation. And I said, so tell me about your upbringing, your relationship, values, and principles that your dad taught you. And he says, my dad would tell me, if you listen to me, I'll make you the most dominant big man of all time. So your dad told you that. He told me that. Okay, what else? And all these other stories you hear about with Shaq and his dad. You know, his dad would say, finish this. He was a drill sergeant, so everything was yes, sir, yes, sir, yes, sir. He had that kind of a dad, very much of a disciplinarian, right?
That's a good dad.
Who raised him. What are some stories with your pops? You know, you obviously a lot of it has been heard, but what are some stories about your dad on how he raised you and Tristan?
Yeah, my father was, I believe, the best father on the planet. I think that every son should hopefully think the same of their father. I think a father's role is to be a superhero. I think a father's role is to, I think one of the big mistakes in modern society is that people think that a father should be a second mother, and I disagree. I think a father should be a superhero. And sometimes a superhero needs to go do superhero things. My father wasn't always home.
Talk.
He was away. But when he came home with a story. And I think that the quality of his presence was more important than the quantity of his presence. He raised us with absolute duty to our last name. He made it very, very clear for a very long time that being a Tate means something and that you have to live an honorable life and a life that's true to God because of that. And also his expectations to us were exceptionally high because we were Tates. When I did something fantastic, when I became state chess champion at the age of 5, or when I did exceptionally well my SATs, he moved me up 2 grades, etc. I didn't come home and say, Dad, I did this, and then go, wow, good job. He was like, well, you're a Tate. Duh. Well, who are you competing against? I was like, well, the other kids in school. Who are they? Don't know. Exactly. You're a Tate, of course. So he always had this huge expectation of us and made it clear that the last name means something.
See,
This
I
is
could
the
resonate with that.
I can't. I mean, this is what's. It's really frustrating that this is the type of shit that's being discouraged. So we have, well-off middle. I don't even want to say middle-aged guy, but a well-off gentleman that's successful at a young age and has some positive shit to say to influence young men to be very old school. Right? Like that's a very old school train of thought.
Yeah.
And like your dad should be your superhero. Like, you know, we talk smack about our parents, but when we were kids, we thought the world of our dads because they were.
Yeah. Once upon a time.
No nonsense.
Everyone's dad.
Yeah.
You know, was their hero.
This is crazy. This is the misogynistic.
Well, and too, for me, like, you know, even I don't even really notice it until someone says it like this, where they're like, because I was raised the same way. It's like, you're a pistol, right? And even my son, so I raised him like that, even to his age now. And he'll be on the video games and he'll be like, Dad, I told these dudes I was a pistol and they didn't even know what I mean. And I'm like, yeah, because they're not a pistol, bro. Like,
yeah, and see,
it's a thing. And then later on that grows, and you know, then you tell them like, hey, you're built different. You function differently.
Yeah, see,
so when you reach these limits, you can actually tackle them, and then they believe that. And when they hit those, what happens?
Yep.
One day it clicks. It may take till they're 15 years old.
Yep, exactly.
But that day, all that's gonna.
Well, hopefully it takes till they're 15 years old. That shit didn't click for me until a couple of years ago, because I didn't have a dad that told me to be proud to be an Allison, because my dad wasn't an Allison. My dad was a Bremner.
Right.
He didn't want me to have his last name. So I didn't get to be told to be proud to be. So my name meant nothing to me, right? Like I was just trying to be the best that I could be and who I was supposed to be, you know, but now like hearing this, like in my brain, it's like, man, that's so logical. That's something, that's a tool that I can use with my son, because we have pride in our family of being our family. We've never said
this
like,
is what we are.
Yeah.
And people, and, you know, maybe like for me, it was like you have a very uncommon last name. So it's easier to believe that you are different. Right. If it was like the same as, you know, it was like Hernandez or something that, you know, 80 other people in my grade had the same last name.
Right. Smith.
Yeah, Smith, whatever, you know, we're from the Valley. So,
yeah.
But, you know, I don't know a lot of Smiths, you know, like,
okay.
that's an outlier,
enough,
you know.
Yeah.
I don't know, like one of those, and he looks like me.
Yeah.
But it's true. I was raised to have like that pride in your last name.
Yeah.
And it's weird because then when you're in high school sports or whatever, what do they call you? They usually call you by your last name.
Right.
Your coach will, you know, so it all just is part of this same like connected line. Like you don't necessarily realize it,
right?
You know, and maybe it doesn't always play out like that all the time.
Yeah.
But you can lay the groundwork. Like right now, Jet thinks he's half special. And he is, you know, and the more you believe it, the more you will.
That's right. Well, that's 90% of the fucking battle is just believing it,
and
instilling that in our kids and keeping that belief alive as long as possible, because the world's going to beat them down. Their friends are going to beat them down.
Yeah.
The bullies are going to beat them down. But as long as you instill in them, like, look, you got this. You are great.
Like basically, you know, like what Tate's saying, like a little bit of tough love. That's what you need, that, like we were saying earlier, that yin yang, that father-mother dynamic. You got to have the dad that's going to be like, get off your fucking ass, shut the fuck up.
That's right.
And go out there.
Because if something's not right in your life, there's only one person that really is to blame.
Yeah.
And you got to look them in the mirror and admit it and move fucking on.
Well, and when I was younger and we had sports, and the coach was giving it to us hardcore, there'd be dudes crying early in the year. You know, like summer league, fools are still trying out. You knew whose dad either wasn't there or never yelled at him.
Yeah.
Those are the fools crying. Because all the rest of us that got yelled at, we're used to this.
Yeah.
This is like the only time these dudes probably ever been yelled at.
Right.
And now they're unequipped.
Yeah.
You know, for the environment.
Yeah.
And so now the coach knows, hey, when in the heat of the battle, you're going to be crying.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be able to yell at you. I need to yell at you and you to turn into the Hulk.
Right.
And grow.
Right.
Respond.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
Right. But it's under control. It's when in a controlled environment. You need to know when to go, but you have to have the ability to go. So you have to learn how to go. Then you have to learn how to control it. And then now you're like a balanced man.
Well, and I think realizing too that sometimes it takes a little bit of that extra aggression to be pushed to the next level. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like sometimes you don't know you have a sixth gear until you have somebody cussing at you, yelling at you, telling you you are a piece of shit.
And it usually can't be your parent.
Right.
Like what I knew.
Because that hurts.
Well, you know, it can, and it does hurt worse, you know, because that's who they need to come to you to be like, oh, my coach was being so mean to me.
Right.
And you're like, you're all right, you know, you get through it, and then they go back the next day.
Yeah.
They learn not to quit.
Yeah, they're being hard on you for a reason.
That's like the main thing I instill with mine is like, we don't quit. Pistols don't quit.
That's right.
So then there's times where he'll be like, I'll be trying to quit something. And he's like, hey, pistols don't quit. And I'm like, shit.
You got me there.
All right.
I wasn't quitting.
Yeah, I was just taking a break. Taking a break and quitting are two different things.
I was just reevaluating the situation.
Yeah. You must not have heard me right. But yeah, kids are they're definitely like a mirror. You know, you start to see a reflection of your work or your lack of work.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. Yeah, and I think we saw our son just got back from SciCon, which is our like 6th grade. If you're not listening to this and not from the fucking valley, it's our 6th grade outdoor education camp. Is that a good way to put it? Yeah,
I would have not known how to describe it, and I think that's highly accurate.
Okay. Sweet. Because I didn't get to go. Yeah. I missed it because they did it late when I moved here, because I moved here in 6th grade, and that's how I figured out that's when I moved here, because I missed all that cool shit.
Yeah.
There's a lot of bonding happening. Friends for life, I heard.
Oh, yeah. Everyone loves SciCon. It was all right.
Yeah, but we saw, I was worried letting my son off into the wilderness, literally.
Yeah.
No access to him whatsoever. No phone. No nothing.
Yeah, how'd it go?
I was worried at first. I was worried what was going to come back. You know, what was I going to get? What was I going to get? Just in general. But he came back a great kid. He came back just exactly the way he left. It seemed like he missed us. He probably wouldn't have never admit that he did.
Yeah.
But he came back really, really good.
Well, there's a lot of like team building and stuff like that out there.
That's what I felt like, right?
Like it's probably kind of lame for them now, but you do get caught up in it because everyone's kind of doing it.
It's the rah-rah.
They have all these chants and all these certain songs they sing.
And it kind of felt like, okay, what we're doing at home, like he got to see a little bit of that out in real life, right? Like that's
like the difference.
The similarity, like we're at our house, we're always, like we're team building. That's what we're doing.
Yeah.
Bro, you got chores for a reason. Bro, I'm trying to help you start a business for a reason. Like all of these things. And I think, took it for granted, and then he realized and saw externally all of that shit, and there's rules and regulations and structure
right?
Yeah, exactly. And all of a sudden he comes home and still has the same I'm like, oh, okay, not terrible.
Yeah.
Not terrible at all.
Well, I remember going and you get 3 strikes and you're out. Okay.
Yeah, see, nobody got any strikes. They said they were the first ever to get no strikes. Their whole camp, the whole SciCon camp got no strikes.
Is that it? How is that even possible?
That's what I don't know.
That means that they weren't.
It was.
In my opinion, and I don't mean, you know, I'm like,
it was the sweet.
There's
It
no
was
way.
the sweetest bunch of kids ever. When we dropped Brem off in class and it would send him off, I was like looking around and I was like, I don't see anybody
But
that's
there's-
questionable.
okay, so they're a class. All right, so there's a bunch of other schools.
The whole Psycon got no fucking whatever you just called it.
strikes. Well, I had 2 strikes personally.
Personally,
I had 2 strikes.
not one kid got a strike in the whole thing. Now they're all getting pizza parties.
Wow.
Because of it.
Well, I hope it's real, and it sounds like it is if they're giving them pizza parties. But I wonder if that's it's like a, you know, how nowadays everyone gets a trophy.
Oh,
it's
Jesus,
like
don't
could
tell
it
me.
maybe, you know, my
Yeah.
conspiracy. I'm not.
Yeah.
I hate to say it because Brim was part of
You're
it.
You're true. No,
I
yeah,
apologize.
you're right.
You
Yeah,
know, but I just mean like, could it be that like they're soft now on everyone? Like, you know, it's possible. You know, but
Yeah, it's
at the same time, you know the group.
yeah. His and I will say his
It's like
camp
there's not
counselors.
one bad kid, or maybe the bad kids just aren't in school no more since COVID.
No, I will say his camp counselors looked like soon to be stoners.
Okay.
That's for damn sure.
Well, I'm sure they're enjoying themselves up there once all the kids
On their
go to
free
bed.
time, yeah.
Yeah. My counselor, when I wrote a note, did they write a letter home?
No,
So we stayed a week. I don't think they stayed the full week
it
anymore.
was 5 days.
Okay. Well, so
Monday through Friday.
All right. So like on Tuesday, I remember we had like to write a letter home,
What?
and so my mom still has mine,
Yeah, I'm sure.
shit.
Yeah, we would have Brems.
and it says basically like, it's cool here. I forgot shampoo and conditioner. My camp counselor wears baggy pants. It was like the first time I ever seen anyone with like seriously baggy clothes.
Oh gosh.
Because I was in 6th
The
grade.
like tube jeans. What did they
yeah,
call
just
those?
not even tubular. Like tubular was one of the
Uh-huh.
Old Navy brands, but yeah. And anyhow, it was just very like direct. It's like how someone would text the very first time. You know, there was no inflections or anything
Right.
in there. It was just to the point.
You're
you know.
doing. I'm
Forgot
doing this because I have to.
Yeah. I'll see you soon. You know, and I gotta say, I didn't take a shit the entire time.
I
was there.
remember you telling me that when we were younger.
I was so anxiety ridden
Brem.
about taking a shit, and it's funny because, well, like even with my kids and stuff, they're not the most like, when ours went to Psycon,
Yeah.
I was like, how was it, and she didn't love it,
Yeah.
Did Brim ended up doing Skytrail?
That was the. I don't think he did the Sky Trail. He did something else.
Yeah, Jay didn't either, and I was like,
That was like the 6 mile or something.
you're supposed to. That's part of this. Like, you should have been on Skytrail. Like, that's like the most challenging thing there. So for me, I'm always like, I'm competitive. So
Yeah.
I'm like, if you're going, we got best trail group, best cabin. Like we got all the stuff. Even though I
Nice.
had my 2 strikes, one of them was for like fat. You'd call it fat shaming now, probably. But it was really just that I was hungry, and some girl was trying to eat like the last sausage. So I probably snapped at her. I didn't even know why I got in trouble. But in breakfast, you're all put all the food in the middle. Someone
Right.
goes and gets all the food for everybody. So it's kind of like a mini buffet.
Oh no!
And then you all kind of get
But
some,
they wouldn't get enough. Oh, I know they wouldn't get enough. Oh my god!
So of course that's what happened.
yeah.
It was like 2 dogs at a bowl.
Oh shit!
So I remember, I can't remember what the first thing was, but the second one I was like, that's some bullshit.
Right.
I didn't strike.
Who gave it to you? Your.
Well, she went and cried to somebody.
Oh.
Girl show up crying, and all of a sudden,
Story of my life.
I'm probably the biggest fool there, probably the size of the camp counselor. Didn't even realize it. They're like, this big ass fool's over here
Yeah.
bullying.
You know what I was wondering about? How sometimes life is about perspective, and this is. We'll go off on another tangent now. I always wondered what it's like when you look down on everybody your entire life, like and physically, right?
Yeah.
Like
You don't notice it.
you don't
don't
notice
notice-
it. You don't
not-
notice that you're like 2 feet taller.
Not for a while, because to you, that's
when,
level.
when you're okay. Yeah, when you're younger, right?
Right? It takes a while.
So what age did we met in 6th grade and you were fucking huge,
So-
skinny and huge.
Until, I'm trying to think, like, until you get in a fight, and two bodies come together and one of them goes off the ground and the other one doesn't,
I guess you don't realize.
that's when you notice. You're like, whoa, they just went 1.5 feet off the ground. And I was standing right here.
Yeah.
Good. You know, that like it was really like in fighting and stuff. That's that's the only time.
Okay.
And then in sports, they're always like, oh, you're taller. But if I saw a dude that was even like a couple inches shorter than me, I felt like he was taller because
Right.
I'm not looking down to my level.
Right.
I'm looking either
It's
normal or
at
close to.
ish,
So I
yeah.
really feel like I'm like this.
Now I wonder, and the reason I was thinking about perspective is a weird thing because I was like, you know, people's eyes. Some of them are closer together, some of them are further apart, and I wonder how that changes like the way they see things, like the way they view life in
Yeah.
general. You know what I mean?
Like the Oculus, how you can slide the eyes.
Totally,
for different,
right? Yeah,
you know.
you got there's a technical
Mine are close
term.
together, apparently.
Yeah, I'm all the way apart. when I
Yeah,
put
I'm all the way
Oculus
together.
on. Okay, yeah, I guess you do. You guys,
look,
okay,
I didn't realize.
Now that I
you know,
noticed,
now that I was like sized them up.
it's because you're all beard. That's
I
all
guess.
you hide behind
Yeah.
beard.
I got a whole lot of beard. I got a little baby face under here.
So now I wonder, like, take that and kids that are raised around huge people, right? Like, so your kid, for instance, is raised around the biggest person that he's ever going to know.
Yeah.
For the most part.
Yeah, 1% category sizes.
I don't think anybody's ever going to scare him because
Right.
he
That's the
bullies
plan.
the shit out of you,
That's the
right?
plan.
So there
Yeah.
should, there, like,
I want him
nobody.
to be a beast
he
in a land of pussies.
and he will be.
You know.
I think he will be.
And I think, you know, when you're big and you're young, like a big dog, people are overly worried about you hurting things,
Right.
breaking things.
Yeah.
And so they kind of like, well, most of my life, it was like, don't go your hardest. Don't hurt your friends. You know, take it easy.
You should
That's-
not. Yeah.
And then you're like 13 and you go into high school and your coach is like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
No.
Why are you so soft? And you're like, what do you mean? Because you've been going like 40% your whole life.
Yeah.
You know, it's like wrestling your friends. If me and you wrestled, you're going 100. I'm just naturally going like 50.
Right.
Until I get
You're only
mad.
going to go as hard as necessary.
And all of a sudden, I'm going to feel like someone going 100. And I'm
then
going to be like,
someone's gonna
oh,
get hurt.
We're going to do that? You know? And then, you know, occasionally, yeah, maybe someone got hurt.
Yeah.
You know? And then it would be like wrestling 3-on-1 or 4-on-1.
Right.
That was the most fun,
yeah.
you know? Because it was like, even if you could get 2-on-1, that's still bragging rights.
Right. Well, now I'm trying to figure out too, right? So I want to, well, my son, you know, we all do fighting now in the family.
Yeah, I know. I'm jealous.
It's awesome. You should join us.
I know.
We can carpool. But so I want my son, I'm the parent. I'm like, beat his ass, go fucking hard. You can feel bad later.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if he gets the shit beat out of him, how am I supposed to react? Is it going to be, because I'm going to want to do the, you did awesome.
Yeah.
But in reality, the way that we're saying we want to be training, that we want to train ourselves, that we should be training our kids, we probably, you know, worked with us when we were kids, is it should be a, should have tried harder conversation.
Maybe.
Right?
I think
I love you. We're going to go get ice cream, but
or look, dad and mom, right?
yeah,
Mom's, that's what she's there
Right.
for. You're there to be the other side of it. Like, hey, you did good.
yeah,
You took a fucking ass beating.
that's right.
That's an accomplishment.
Right.
To get your ass beat and still keep going is way harder than to win and keep going. Mm-hmm. You know, so just right there. You know, the first time I got my ass beat, like with the boxing gloves on, the
Yeah.
dude was 10 years older. My lip was this fat the next day, but I still went back. And even though I was like embarrassed, everyone was like, gave me hella props because
Yeah.
I'm 16 and this dude that cracked me was 26.
Yeah.
And they were like, hey, you fucking did good until the end. Mm-hmm. It was like fighting Mike Tyson. Once he got mad enough, you know, he fucking really let me have it. And I was young. I wasn't about it yet.
And I think it's Mike Tyson that says everybody has a plan until they get punched in the face.
Yeah. My plan was I got hella cardio. I run every day at practice.
So you cannot get hit.
But I was like, I'll box anyone out here. And there was like a car pulling up and a bunch of other dudes out there that didn't want to box me. And they were like, this dude got out the car. His name was Joe. And he was at least
He would be a
in
Joe.
his, 22 to 25,
He was probably 17.
and I was like 16. No, this motherfucker was older.
Okay, 19.
Yeah, let's say. Well, hey, fuck it. We'll say he was 20.
Was he your size, bigger, smaller?
He was brawnier, but obviously I was taller.
But he knocked you good.
Basically, I said I'll box anyone out here. I didn't see him pulling up, and so they were like, "Well, Joe's right here," because no one else wanted it, and I was like, "Oh shit."
That's classic, right?
Yeah, I called out.
Where's Joe?
It's like,
come on, Joe.
Yeah, and they're like, he's like, oh. So I was like, I have to. I just felt like, and we had been drinking a little bit, so I was like relaxed enough to like, okay,
Whatever.
So I was boxing him, and I was doing good because he can't reach me.
Yeah.
And
Was he a boxer?
well, I wasn't a boxer. I had never boxed.
But was he?
I don't know.
Because I know you weren't a boxer, but if he was any kind of boxer, it doesn't
wouldn't
matter
have
what
known.
size he was, he would have worked
That's
you.
true. That's true. So at first it was like I could stay away from him.
Right.
So then he's like covering up. He's having a hard time reaching me.
He was probably a boxer.
And the next thing you know, he just runs up on me, throws me up on the fence because we're just fighting in an alley, starts hitting me on my sides. And I remember thinking in my drunk ass mind, like, dropping my hands.
Where was this?
This was in the alley over there.
Okay. Yeah.
Rudy's alley over there around the corner
By
Granny's house.
yeah, by Granny's house. Well, yeah. Yep.
So he throws me on the fence. So now I'm kind of scared because he's way older. And I know without these gloves, he probably could beat me up.
Well, and you don't know, is there going to be a knife involved? Is a gun going to come out?
I'm like I'm like a moron at this point. I'm like 16 back to
So you're not thinking about knives or guns?
No, hell no. I'm just like, hey, it don't even hurt to get hit in the body. I remember thinking that. And then one of these turned into one of these, and it came, and I remember it even blocked like the LED light. It wasn't LED. What is it? It was like the white.
Yeah.
The light. The
The
metal
high
halide.
pressure sodium. Or
No,
metal halide. Yeah, the white
blue.
one, not the yellow.
Yeah. And it blocked it, and I felt like someone hit me in the face with a baseball bat. Boom! Spun me in a circle, hands on the fence, leaking blood. We'd always fight till blood. So I was like, well, I guess at least I'm out.
Hopefully.
And it was done. That was it.
Yeah.
The next day I was like elephantitis lit.
Nice.
But, I gained a little respect apparently.
Yeah.
You
That's cool.
So it worked out. And that was one of those like moments where you're like, you feel like a piece of shit. No one feels good till you get your lip busted and your nose busted,
Yeah.
Woke up the next day, it was like numb. I remember just being like, "Oh shit, I didn't have a goatee and all that back then."
Baby face.
I was over there like,
What would it
duck
cost to get that beard removed?
"Oh, I don't know." You gotta
How
talk
long?
to my wife.
How old is it? Because I left, you were baby face. I came back to visit, you were
Yeah.
baby face, and then I moved here. It's not too.
It's probably like, well, since I met Cassie, she's the
Okay.
one that was like, "You should try to grow out the sides."
Oh, okay. Because
So everyone's like, "How does it get this?" I just usually had like the goatee, and it
Okay.
would go different lengths.
Yeah.
But I didn't know if I could grow the sides. I'd never tried.
Yeah.
And I always like girls, like if you have a beard, it was like they seem to want more clean shaven.
Right.
And then it started becoming a thing where like they like beards.
Beards are cool now. Yeah.
So I was a little bit ahead of it because it seems like she's always like a little bit ahead of shit. So as it worked out in my favor.
Do you trim and you keep it like, I don't know if we talked about this on screen or not.
Yeah. Well, I'm very particular. I don't just let anyone trim it, and I don't trim it myself.
Got it.
So you got to have a girl you go to that takes
Okay.
care of it, and it doesn't have to be that. It's just really need to get the chops cut down
Right.
every few weeks.
Because
You can
everything
let
else,
this go.
and I'm sure like you have breakage and shit like that, right?
Yeah,
Like kind of maintain shape.
Yeah, like they don't, different. Like I've only had 2 girls ever, and the one that's doing it right now has been doing pretty good as far as keeping it in line.
Careful, Cass.
No, it's not. Yeah, it's all right. She knows her. Obviously, I'll never end up in any salon that Cassie didn't put me in.
Yeah, no
Very
shit.
selectively. I'm like, don't speak of anything. They're like, oh, say whatever you want. I'm like, yeah.
All right,
no.
so we're gonna have one of these days. We're gonna have to have a wager. and it's gonna cost you your beard.
That's that's intense.
I just want to see that 16-year-old Chad
Yeah.
again one more time in my
The
lifetime.
dimples, yeah.
You're a handsome young guy. I remember.
That's what I said. When I'm 50, I can shave it and then I'll look 30. again.
30, yeah.
Yeah, I'll go back. Yeah. But my dad has like a hole on his cheek, so he can't really grow. Like he'd go on vacation, your dad don't shave the whole time, or
Right.
something. And he would have like a big old blonde,
like a
spot.
bald patch, yeah.
So I just never thought I could grow it in.
Right.
So guys would be like, "How'd you get it so long?" You know what the secret is?
Not cutting it.
Not being held out by pussy. Pussy says cut it, you cut it. If they say grow it, you grow it.
That's right. Hey,
They act like they don't know what we're supposed to do or how to get us to do what they want.
No, they do not.
But at the fundamental level,
not when you've been married as long
understand.
as I have. It's very transparent. Trust
You
me.
know. I'm like, don't play dumb. Why are we even having a conversation?
It goes
Talking is already going in the wrong direction.
That's what I tell my wife now. I'm just like, baby, make up my mind.
Yeah.
Just make up my mind so
Yeah.
I know what I'm doing today.
Yeah.
I know what I'm wearing.
Just tell my body to tell my mind what to do.
And I will say I make enough fucking decisions throughout the day that when it comes to that,
Yeah.
I trust her enough. She can make up my mind.
Yeah. That's true. Sometimes it's like when I worked at the bar and at the gym, you were like constantly making all the decisions.
Too many.
Which is fun, power and all
it
that.
gets
But
old.
eventually you're like, oh my God, I don't want to decide. Like, I don't care what the next TV show we watch is.
Well, and so when you go through the day, and when I go through the days, a lot of my decisions are split-second decisions and detrimental. Like I don't want to say life or death, but catastrophe or not catastrophe decisions, right? So Jesus Christ, when I get home, I want to be told what I'm eating, what underwear, what color underwears I'm wearing.
Oh, we're getting in some Schitt's Creek. That's what we're eating.
But
what's for dinner?
But I still want to be the manly man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
but I've been out hunting and foraging.
Right.
all
You just come home with
fucking
some
day.
deer. You don't want to know if you wanted to marinate.
Yeah, fuck. You
just
didn't
wanna
have
throw
to
that
watch
bloody
me
thing on the
cut
table.
and skin, and here's meat. Do with it what you may.
Yeah. No, it's true. Even though I like to cook,
Yeah.
and I'm the type where it's like, if someone gets up, if I don't feel like cooking and someone starts cooking, I'm going to go in there and take over. So sometimes that's a good way to get me motivated. Start doing the thing.
Start doing something.
And then I'm like competitive.
Wait a second.
And I'm like, wait, no, I think I want to do it.
Right.
But if I'm just chilling, you're like, go make something. I'm like, fuck.
I wasn't ready.
Yeah. But if then they start making it and I see how they're doing it, and I'm like, no, I gotta switch this up.
Yeah, that's something I've really had to learn how to control my OCD and and it's not even OCD. It's just the controlling temperament that I have, because I really like things done a certain way, but I don't like doing them. Right? So if you want your t-shirts folded a certain way,
Man, that's a
you do it.
conundrum.
You do it yourself.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
But I don't want to fold and do my t-shirts.
Yeah.
So, it's not even something that's on my radar, right? Like I love the way it all just like this fairy comes in.
Yeah.
And like all of a sudden my drawers are full. It's all organized, like I say something, like, man, it'd be cool if my workout clothes were in the top drawer with my underwear and socks. And fucking shit, dude, the
And
fairy
boom.
put them. I went to go to the gym today and it was right where I asked for it. I was
That's
like,
strange.
Son of a bitch.
That's strange.
All right. So, you don't complain about the things that just magically happen.
Right.
And the same thing with, I guess I do most of the cooking. Like I'll do the meat. Wifey will do like the sides. Yeah.
Yeah. I like to cook, and I like to cook the sides
Yeah,
too.
but
I'm
you
not
cook gourmet shit though, right?
It is true that usually when I'm cooking, it's like a 3-hour minimum of me in the kitchen. If the barbecue is considered like the easy route at this point. So if I'm taking the easy route,
It's not a barbecue. It's a slow cooker. It's a smoker.
the pellet smoker, Green Mountain Grill.
So it's a 4-hour process starting.
Yeah. Which Well, the smoker could be pretty quick if you're doing like even. I mean, you got the preheat. Preheat's pretty damn quick.
I just did tri-tips yesterday in like 30 or 40 minutes
it's
on
quick.
low.
Yeah, I'll do like I was like, what's low? Like 225, lower than that.
I don't go down to like 180, but I think I was at about 225.
Yeah, I think 180 is what I was doing those tomahawks on, and then you do it up to like they get to like 110 or something.
Jesus Christ! Now
I'm like, damn, I want tomahawks now.
No, you said tomahawk, and I'm like steak.
Yeah,
red meat.
so that's what we need to do.
Fuck.
We need to start.
I have to pee.
Me too. I was holding it.
Me too.
I was like Rogan. I was like, I'm gonna hold it. Don't ask me anything complicated.
Yeah, those guys were working out.
Dude, you're like studs. I'm like, this dude's got like genetics.
Yeah,
Like,
they've got that warrior body, and
Yeah.
that's something I don't have. I've definitely got the fucking Poindexter body, but I think I can create within myself
It's
that
just-
warrior body.
it's like testosterone and fucking weightlifting. TRT, go to the doctor.
I am gonna go to the doctor about it. Fucking get tested, get my T levels,
There's
because
no-
they say at 40 is when it starts to drop. But I already know that I was probably low on testosterone as an adolescent, and my maturity probably started producing more.
Yeah.
And I probably just need to boost it now.
Yeah. Well, and two, all the foods we eat, that stuff, all the stuff we were
Yeah.
talking about,
Oh,
all
yeah.
of that lowers
I ate
testosterone.
terrible as a kid.
And we take a lot of like estrogen producing stuff like weed.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of bad I can say about weed, but
Except
when it comes
that.
to too much estrogen, yeah, weed is not good.
That's why I've always had these man boobies.
Yeah, a little breast.
They're almost
tissue.
pecs.
Do enough push-ups, they're gonna turn hard. I swear.
My Shihan said I was starting to get abs today. I was like the biggest compliment ever.
Yeah, it's like when you're boning your girl, and they're like, "I saw your six pack," because you're like, "I don't have a six pack." Well, they're the only ones that see you completely stretched out, working your abs.
Yeah, I don't do a lot of the work. I make my wife do. Well, I don't make her. She chooses to do a lot of the work. And
Oh, well, that's cool. I like to work. Say that.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's certain positions where it's like, all right, I'll get up and I'll put in some effort for this.
Yeah.
But there's nothing better than
Just enjoying yourself.
it's been a long day, babe.
Like you said, you don't want to make you don't want to make decisions. So
That's
that
what I'm
makes a lot of sense,
saying, right?
I guess then it would get a little harder. There'd have to be a lot more direction.
A lot more direction, and turn sideways and
Yeah,
this
get
and
up, do
that.
this.
Yeah. I'm not a good director.
Yeah.
Yeah. We just move on.
Yeah. Anyway.
That'll probably get edited out.
Yeah. Right. It's funny because I always wonder when I'm watching like Rogan and these guys. I'm like, how do they? He's had a lot of time to practice too. I'm like, I never used to watch him years ago when he was probably dog shit.
Right.
For 5 years.
Rogan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When they would just get so lit.
I don't know if he was ever dog shit though, because he had a lot. He was already a host. He had already done a lot by the time.
That's true. He had a lot of
famous.
credibility. I remember knowing about the Joe Rogan podcast, but back then podcasts were kind of a joke.
Fuck, dude.
He's been
You're
doing it
the
for,
only
like,
one that
over
got
10
me into
years.
podcasts. The only reason we're doing this right now is because, I mean,
I definitely have fallen into the podcast where I don't even want to watch TV.
yeah, I'd rather listen to a
Like how you were
podcast.
like, talking about getting off and watching scripted stuff.
Yeah.
Now I almost can't watch scripted. It's
Really?
so hard for me, but then it's not a way to live to just be absorbing content all day either.
Well,
But-
it doesn't give you enough time to do anything with what you just
That's right.
figured out, right?
That's right. You learning it, it's like a dopamine high, like when you're on TikTok.
Yeah.
And there's this mind-blowing 3-minute video after 3-minute video after 3-minute video. Even though they talk about how the kids just skip, I'm like watching these videos.
Yeah.
But then I either got to jump off and go to Google or, Brave or DuckDuckGo or whatever,
Yeah.
etc. and look it up.
So to bring up Tate again, the difference between Chinese TikTok and our
God.
TikTok, and where does TikTok come from? Right,
China.
It's China. But when it's in the news, what are the headlines when it comes to TikTok and China? Privacy.
Yes. Okay.
Right? Has nothing to do with the fact that they're feeding all their kids entrepreneurial.
So we're giving up all of our
educational-
stuff, but no one's mentioning the fact that there's a completely different TikTok for China kids versus everyone else.
Now, what's the design? Is it China's design? Is it the social media government matrix's design? Are they all intertwined within? But I think China is seeing an opportunity and gonna take it because they're like, okay, we know that this is what I'm going to call it a pandemic here is the social media and all that stuff. That's what the real pandemic is.
Yeah.
So they're going to take advantage and start influencing our kids. And those are the things that are going to go viral here. When in China, the things that are going viral are entrepreneurial, educational.
Yeah. Science experiments and shit like that.
Yeah. And that's why they're annihilating us in production.
Well, it's funny because even with my teenager, they're on TikTok, but they're not as susceptible as the adults, in my opinion. I feel even with, my 5-year-old, if he finds a game that has a bunch of ads or whatever that's overly asking him to buy stuff, he doesn't want to play that game.
Right.
Because I've told him, like, hey, there's these things out there. There's games that are just designed to get you to play it for about a few minutes and download the next game that they made and the next game. And he'll start to notice
get stuck in that loop.
At 5.
Yep.
I didn't even know what an iPhone was, much less being able to recognize patterns like that just because they didn't exist then.
They weren't
I would
there.
have been capable in that environment. You know,
do you realize the iPhone's not even that old? Oh man, we were watching tape.
Tater
salad.
I'm gonna have to make me a Tate shirt of some sort. I'm sure he's got a whole. See, like
2007. I should have asked you when you thought the first iPhone came out first. Can you believe it came out in 2007?
That sounds about right because I do remember being 21 when I got the first one, and I bought it.
That wouldn't have been right.
No?
You would have been 18 in 2002.
Well, in 2003 when I graduated, I would have been 18.
No, you graduated. When did you graduate? 2003?
Yeah.
I didn't graduate. I got my GED, so
yeah.
I was supposed to graduate in 2001, but then I was part of the 02 class. We're part of the same class.
I was 03.
Well, see, that's
Take it
how
from a
you
person that
remember things wrong, or people. I'm remembering something wrong somewhere.
Right,
okay,
right.
So you graduated 2003, so 4 years. Okay, so you're pretty close to right.
Around there.
Yeah.
It was only because I worked at the gym at the time. Maybe I was like 22, and there was a girl that worked in the restaurant in the gym, which was Fugazi's, and she was the manager.
shit.
And she sold me her phone. She was hot as shit, and there was another dude there that wanted to buy it. And so I went around his back and offered like $50 more. Fucking got that phone. She didn't even clear none of her stuff out. Found out she was selling weed, all kinds of shit. Before I cleared the phone.
That's
Make
awesome.
it mine. And yeah, that was my first. But it was like, I think it was the 3G, or maybe it was just, I don't know. I might have not even been the first. What's it look like? What's the first one look like? It had to have been the first one. It had the plastic back where it was curved.
Yeah.
Yeah. So not the 3G, just the
iPhone.
And it kind of sucked.
Oh,
I remember ending up in the hospital and having it and being like, damn, what medications am I on? Let me look these up.
Models.
Yeah, it's probably like a fucking. Got the new versions.
And the 14 just came out.
I know I got like 4 upgrades. I'm like, no.
Start at the beginning, you shit face.
There we go.
All right, iPhone. Then the 3G.
Then the 3G.
Then the 3GS.
Yeah. That was on the S shit.
And then the 4. and then the 4S.
I think I have one of those at the house.
And then the 5, and then the 5C.
That was when the cheap ones started.
And then the 5S.
The welfare ones.
And then the 6 Plus,
Yeah.
6S.
6S Plus.
6S. SE.
The shitty one.
7,
Yeah.
8, X. Oh, they
The dog
skipped
shit
9.
one, It went from
They
8
totally
to,
skipped
8 to
9.
10?
8 to
8 to
10.
the X. Damn.
And that was
And the
2000. Same year.
And the X was a flop.
That must
They
have been
sold
why.
it. It was 1,000 or something, 1,200. I remember it was like a big deal, and no one was happy with it. I think it was the first one without the button.
You know, these guys are so genius. Because look at this. The only thing, it's just slight improvements.
It's because
every year.
We dropped something?
Drop my carb.
The shit, what was I gonna say?
Slight improvements every year, these genius assholes, and then they get us to spend $1,500 a year or every other year.
Yeah.
But now that the 14's out, I'm like, where's that 14 Pro Max? Because you know I'll get one.
Yep.
Now that I got my 13 Pro Max, I'm sold as shit. So by the time my 13 Pro Max is paid off, they'll be making me buy a new one.
Yeah, see, so I've done this already 12 times. I have had AT&T since I was 19.
So you stuck around,
Same
okay.
plan. So when I call in and I need to...
They treat you like royalty.
Yeah, they're like, Squire,
Yeah.
how may we help you today? We answer you immediately. But
We
it's
appreciate
nice.
your business.
Yeah, we see that you've spent $50,000 over your lifetime with us. What do you need?
You put my kid through college.
Yeah, you paid our light bill. I don't even know what accent that was, but yeah,
right.
AT&T though has been the shit, honestly, for around here at least.
Yeah, they get what I hear, good service.
And
Now,
it's not the cheapest.
I've got Xfinity Mobile, which is
How's that work since you switched over?
It's way better than Sprint. Sprint
Yeah.
is dog shit as
I know
far as
Sprint
I'm
sucks around
concerned.
here.
Their customer service is the worst. And for me, that's
Aren't they kind of value price range?
I guess they are now. They were like second to Verizon when I started with. I mean, I started with Sprint like 2011. So
Yeah.
you know,
I remember
like,
they were big, weren't they? No, that was Verizon. It was like, can you hear me now?
Can you hear me now?
I'm trying to remember what Sprint was. Did they have the
Sprint was like it was like the yellow.
Yeah,
all
I
I can
remember it was like
is
the yellow little bars or
something.
whatever.
Yeah.
Didn't they have the walkie-talkie phone? Wasn't that Sprint?
That was Nextel.
Oh, okay.
That was.
I never had it, but I was always jealous. And I remember
were
like the
so
Sidekick came
cool.
out.
Yep, that was T-Mobile.
And my homies, they'd be reading, what's that fighter? The redhead. He's like like from the movies and shit. It's very specific. What's his name?
More description.
Bruce.
Not Bruce Lee.
No,
Not the
white
Asian
dude,
guy.
red hair.
Not Carrot Top.
You know, him and Jean-Claude Van Damme both had that video where they were like, one was on the wings of a plane with their legs in the splits, and the other one was on like the wings of a semi. There was like a commercial.
No.
You never saw that?
No.
Just maybe it'll help me remember who the original dude is. Put the Jean-Claude Van Damme like commercial. He's like doing the splits on the two wings of like a fucking Boeing 747s. Chuck Norris.
Oh, Chuck Norris. He's not redhead.
He's not.
Oh yeah, I
That
guess
guy's
he's
kinda
redhead.
ginger.
Yeah.
There it is. I'm like, he's not. I got too many commercials. All right, so then Chuck Norris does.
I've
the
had
making
my
fun
ups
of
and
this.
downs, my fair share of bumpy roads and heavy winds.
This guy's a badass.
That's what made
Yeah, he
me
is.
what I am today.
Braveheart.
Now I stand here
That's not
before you.
Braveheart. Mel Gibson.
What you see is a body crafted to
Bloodsport.
perfection.
Bloodsport.
A pair of legs engineered to defy the laws of physics.
Is he really gonna do
And a
it?
mindset to master
Of course
the
he
most
is.
epic of splits.
They're going in reverse too. Oh my god. Ah!
You never saw this?
Oh my god, no, this is epic.
All right, good.
That's so gangster. His all serious face. He's like, I'm too old for this shit. But they're paying me well.
He's like, damn, Boeing, no.
Volvo dynamic steering.
Yeah. Booyah.
Okay, they win.
All right, now look at the Chuck Norris version. But my point was,
So
those
that's not even the
sidekicks-
one we wanted to look at.
Well, you need to see both because
Okay.
that's the original. The other one's the Chuck Norris one's the parody.
Oh, got it.
So-
Is it actually Chuck Norris?
Yes.
doing it? Okay, good.
Yeah, it is. Maybe just put Chuck Norris like Van Damme parody, or it's on 2 planes. So
Some says that ever gaze that season comes.
This is CGI.
When our Savior's birth is celebrated. The bird of dawning singeth all night long. And then they say, no spirit can walk abroad. The
But
nights
that's
are
Chuck
wholesome,
Norris.
and no planets strike. No fairy tales, no witch had power to charm.
Oh, God.
So hello, and so gracious is the time.
this isn't it, but this is good enough.
Okay.
I like this one better.
Hey.
Very Merry Christmas, and Happy New Year to you all.
Oh god. But we get the point.
Okay, that was pretty cool. Whoever was talking, I love their accent.
Maybe we should look at that the Patty the Batty video I sent you.
Okay. You sent me that on text. There's no consistency to how you send me anything.
Well, you know, I thought if I sent that one to you on text. Hold on.
We could see if I can connect on Bluetooth. Or not, what you do.
AirDrop you, right?
Well, that'll still go to. I need it to email.
Okay. I'll email it then. Is this right here?
Oh, is he gonna kick their asses? Or are they gonna fuck him up? It could go either way.
Wouldn't you like to know?
It could go either way. The suspense is killing me.
Right?
Here, I'm gonna play some tape.
And we have to stay true to it. And I think that this is kind of something that's missing from modern society. When you have a duty to your bloodline and a duty to your ancestors, that is something which you carry with yourself away from cameras and away from the eyes of the outside world. So it's been something that's been massively beneficial to me. Even when I went through hard times in my life, I understood that being a tape prevented me from doing anything that's detrimental to myself. Even basic things. We talked about, let's say, heartbreak. If I had my heart broken.
This guy's a talker.
Fuck yeah, he is.
There you go, Patty.
Woo! All the way through.
This motherfucker's killing me.
Hold on. Have you never seen him before?
No, I don't know who this is.
Maybe we should.
Pretty tired here.
Well, let's watch.
We're in Camp
we'll watch
Pendleton,
this.
military base in
This is
San
my
Diego.
intro.
They've just put me through a hard little session, dripping in sweat, like I just jumped out the sea. Showed them some jiu-jitsu techniques, and then me versus Marines, not at once. Come on, I would have got my head punched in. One at a time, when it stays on, showing them a little bit of jiu-jitsu, and it wasn't easy. My legs are dead.
This looks like a
It's
day
good
of practice.
episode. Get watching.
Yeah, I figured you could appreciate this.
I never went to sleep till late last night. I had about 4.5 hours killed, so now I'm gonna get f***ed up by some Marine cats.
We got a personal shirt for you.
Nice,
To rock
thank
and
you
wear
very
today.
much. Put this on now, got a little stain on my top.
Stains make it better.
Only thing is, it won't smell fresh. My aftershave's on this top.
This is gonna be our intro to combat conditioning. So the first exercise is gonna be kayak.
Ah.
1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
Nope, you have to do it.
1, 2, 3.
Patty had no idea.
These Marines.
Putting him through this gnarly of a workout. What were you expecting today?
I can always grapple, lad. It's just like this way. I've done weight chest. Went for a run and sparred twice this week.
So first station is gonna be elbow strikes, and you're gonna low crawl to the next station, which is knee strikes. Strongman carry, just like this.
My legs are killing as it is.
I weigh about 176, 180.
Yeah, I'm about 200 pounds at the minute. Like, I'm a fan.
Like when you walked in, I didn't recognize him. I was like,
Yeah, they get
He's
proper
usually
chips
way
and
skinny.
stuff.
yeah, just a little bit.
Is he all beefed up or something?
He's just probably in between fights.
If I hate myself, it's on you, Mo.
No, do not put that on me. That's
We'll watch his
Myself, it's on
interview
you.
after
no, this
this.
is why I'm telling you to be responsible right now.
You have a partner, whoever you want to be your partner. Partner up.
I'm like 167. All right.
Yes. It's gonna be a great video. You're a pro athlete. You'll be okay. Patty the baddie, let's go. Let's go, baby. Let's go, sis.
Yeah, you can tell he's a fighter. He's just out of shape.
Yeah, he probably doesn't do this specific set of workouts.
Woo!
Yo, you're carrying me.
No, that's all right.
Yeah.
Who might catch on there? Carry you. I'm Sam, but I'd rather carry you. You're about 50 pounds lighter. As I say, sorry, I'm so fat.
No, you're good.
Are these them lunges again?
Yep.
Oh, fucking hate lunges.
No, the
Especially those jumping split squat style.
Feeling good, feeling good. He's used to this, lad. He does this in his sleep. He this out for breakfast.
This is like all day, every day for these guys.
Yeah, so this dude does this, and then he goes.
Should I skip?
Yeah, I mean, I think we're probably.
Looks like he's gonna keep doing the
No,
same
no, no.
thing.
Go back to the middle. So it's gonna switch up there. See how the numbers are popping up?
Okay.
Patty versus click right there. Right there. Yep, right there. 1 of 10.
Y'all really testing my patience. Right before I blow up the spot, I had to get back to the basics. What if my talent is wasted? You see, but I'm lacking the placement. Plus, I rap in the basement, but my come up is legend, is greatness. I don't care now, it's pedal to the metal. I can never quit now, I will never settle. Puppeteer the game, I'm pulling strings like Geppetto. We in the same game, but I'm on a different level. I passed it. Gotta keep grinding till I'm laid up in the casket. No
Yo.
He's nasty.
Good for him. What? He's good. Yeah, he's jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
You can see a lot of jiu-jitsu everywhere. Oh, that hurts. That hurts.
What you put in your stake in, cause I ain't got no patience and no limitations. You tryna figure me out and I know I don't make sense, but no one's there when you call like you're trapped in the matrix. You need to take a break from it. I think you should take 6.
And you know he's fucking beat.
Hell yeah, he is. Look at him.
Yeah, he's like, I'm using technique right now.
Stalemate? He's like, no. Reset? No, I'm just gonna get you in there.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. Oh, ho, ho. That was a unique one. That was like a pretzel.
Yeah.
Hey, you
I
know,
was like, wow.
I have the balance of a ballerina.
all of that's fine and dandy, but it's all great until you get punched in the face.
So check him out just on a normal search, or on YouTube.
Oh, they got him on Hotbox. Come on, exit. All right, Patty the Baddie. That's the first one that pops up.
Like he has some, I don't know, post-fight interviews and shit. That's most of the shit I've seen going around.
I want to fight Mark Zuckerberg.
Yeah, let's just see something what he says.
To give Paddy his moments, here's Bruce. Ladies and
Look how skinny he is.
Koski has called a stop to this contest
Shit.
at 3 minutes, 49 seconds in the very first round.
Huh?
Declaring the winner by submission due to a rear naked choke, Patty!
He is fit. Look at that. Solid. That's why he was chunky. He was just enjoying life for a minute.
Yeah, I feel like
Very impressive, Paddy the
he
Baddy.
said, like, I'm going to eat a
What we saying,
steak and
Paddy?
whatever
You know,
else.
it wasn't as clean as I like, but are you not entertained? I'm never, ever in a boring fight, lad. I have to get a punch to the face to get woke up. I've got a nice little shine in the morning to prove it.
Well, the first time it was a knockout, this time a submission. How would you rate that performance?
That was only about a 5, 6 out of 10, that, like, because he caught me with a nice punch. I failed on the first takedown of tempo. I used that J-Flow gear, lad. Whoop!
Yeah, I was going to say, I thought he wasn't going to land the punch.
Oh, he thought he did, though, didn't he? He did land the punch. Know what I mean? But as I say, never in a boring fight, lad.
He did land the punch, but as you said last time, Scousers don't get knocked out.
You know that, Mike, you know that.
Listen to this crowd. I mean, you said when you came here, this was what was going to happen. Talk to me about this.
Lad, see this arena, the O2? Too small, too small. Get me a stadium. Get us to Anfield and we'll fill it.
I don't doubt it. I guess the only question left is, when do you want to fight again and who do you want to fight?
Lad, Mr. Hand Sanitizer boy, he can... Lions don't concern themselves with the opinions of sheep. Know what I mean? I'll probably rest, get a little bit fat. I done my LCL a few weeks ago. Still got in here and subbed the man quick. But who I want to fight? Mark Zuckerberg. Lad, I'm going to punch your head in. I'm sick of you, lad. Know what I mean? Sick of you shutting my Instagram accounts down when all I do is help charities and help people with mental health problems. You're the biggest bully in the world, lad.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Just like the one I was talking about earlier.
I want to dedicate this fight to Steve Green. One of my neighbours who died a couple of weeks ago, his son's here. I hope you're happy, Josh. You'll never walk alone, Steve. But one sec, I've done this. I was gonna sing after Tories, but the world's too full of hate at the minute. We need positivity. I've done this in the echo. Will everyone sing with me? Justice for the 97, justice for the 97, justice for the 97, justice for the 97. Don't buy the sun, it's a rag!
Ladies and gentlemen, Paddy the Baddy Pindler.
I like this guy.
Congratulations,
I like this guy a lot.
Paddy the Baddy, a roller coaster ride if you're a Pimblett.
A lot of energy, a great aura about him.
Yeah, for sure.
I like his look, right?
Yeah, he's like pretty boy.
Uh-huh.
Nice guy type.
Who want me with a rear naked choke? What?
Yeah, he's kind of girly looking a little bit. A little strawberry blonde.
Yeah, that's cool. I'm gonna have to fucking follow this guy. He, I feel like him and Thug Nasty are like the same weight class. I wonder if they fought.
Maybe they're heading in each other's direction.
But all these fight guys are talking the same language.
Yeah.
Right? I help people, charity this.
Yeah.
You know.
Which is weird.
Coming from people that want to beat the shit.
Well, it was like not a lot of articulate type of dudes coming out of the UFC. Right?
Was it though? I mean, I don't think we really know because the guys that were coming out of UFC to begin with or the guys that are now running UFC. I mean, fucking.
So I sent you this one about the Diaz brothers. It must have been on email. Let me check. And it was basically a video about like how the UFC kind of like built what they are now on the back of Nick and Nate Diaz.
I have Flat Earth TV News, Flat Earth Clock, Earth is Whack on TikTok.
That's probably my history.
Alex Jones Tells All.
Maybe I just ended up watching it. Let me pull it up here.
And spam that I need to delete.
Where's my history? Oh damn! I watched this many videos. Play some tape. Play some tape.
Reality check.
When I was young, instead of chasing a girl and embarrassing myself, I could sit in my room alone and think, I'm a Tate. I can't do that. I can't. It's not how Tates act. Love you very much. Goodbye. And I missed her with all my heart, but that was the game. Just let her go fuck someone else and just be heartbroken a while and get over it. Because I felt a duty to my last name. So what he...
Okay, see, they have airflow somehow. Like their smoke isn't stagnating. They have airflow somehow.
He did exceptionally well, was instilled duty to the bloodline
But
and
it's
duty
really
to the
quiet.
ancestors. We understood who my family were, understood where we came from, knew who my grandfather was, my great-grandfather was, etc. And he always had very, very high expectations of me. And it's often interesting. People say,
I see.
You know, if you have too high expectations on kids, it's bad for them, da-da-da. I can only talk from my personal experience. The fact that such high expectations were held for me were a massive benefit to me. My father was a disciplinarian. He was also in the Air Force. If I fucked up, he hit me.
Oh.
He never beat me.
I
He
was
never
went on
abused me.
Rogan's, I'm like,
But there was
kinda
certainly a
smoky.
realm in which
You see it
if I
kinda going
fucked up,
by
I
the
get
camera
slapped.
sometimes.
Only happened twice maybe, ever. But I knew it was an option.
Your father's only hit you
Twice in my life, yeah. And I say this, I said this on Twitter when I had a Twitter account. Someone was saying that hitting kids is bad. And I said, yeah, I understand. You can't abuse kids. It's a fine line. I know it's a very nuanced, detailed argument. But in the real world, there are lines that if you cross, violence appears. If I get in your face as a man and start running my mouth, sooner or later, it becomes physical. That's the real world. So as an upbringing of a child, I think there should be lines that if they're crossed, violence appears. I don't see anything wrong with that. I was never abused in any way, but if I really fucked up, and both times now in hindsight, I fucked up massive. And I learned. And I was taught, oh shit, that's a line. And I think especially with young men, if they're...
There are so many sound bites that you could take and just be like, that's great. That's great.
Yeah.
And you can see how he's being portrayed in a negative light because all of a sudden Andrew Tate believes in beating children, or you know what I mean?
Yes.
I saw you just got me.
Yeah, so I think it was a
There's
Netflix
only one way to describe the
documentary.
Diaz.
27 minutes.
But this is just
brothers.
Fucking savage gangster.
But even gangsters can hide dark tragedies.
You guys already know what it is. Real G's come from California, America, motherfucker.
There's not enough room for the both of us. Look, if you ever calling me, call me number one. Oops, I did it again, about to double up. Look, up here, definition of a level up. All my celebrations always been premeditated, always been a step ahead. That's why you finish seconds later.
So what is this?
so it's basically a documentary about you know Nick Diaz and
The history of Nick
Norte
Diaz started
Nate,
with
as they would call him.
Bobby Lawler was this dark destroyer. Everybody was scared of him.
Well, this
He
is
was
there. It'll tell you.
a spooky dude. He was flatlining people.
I know you're not a KO guy, but you know I don't know.
How do you know that?
Well, that's what it says.
Oh,
maybe you're gonna prove everyone wrong.
Well, how do you feel against Robbie Lawler? How do you feel? I feel like I'm gonna get the out of me.
Born in Stockton, California, his first fight came at the tender age of 17.
The first thing he does, he gets into the octagon. He looks over at Robbie, goes, "Stockton, motherfucker, Stockton!" And Robbie's like, "What the fuck is he talking about? What does that even mean?"
They had never seen anything like that.
Nick took that shit talking to DEFCON 5. It's on! The entire time the fight is going on, like, what, bitch? What we doing, bitch? What we doing, bitch? And then he'd hit him. Oh, bitch, I just stung you, bitch. And he'd be popping him. And Robbie Lawler didn't talk back to him, but you could clearly see he didn't anticipate that. Robbie might be fighting off William shit.
Oh!
Talking shit, fearing for your life, getting into fights. That's just another day in Stockton, California.
it's not a place you go if you have dreams. Like Stockton, California is a place, where your dreams
they're
die.
brothers.
Yeah, this is something.
You have to check it out.
I'll have to put on my to watch list.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
That is good. That's gonna be good. I'll put that on tomorrow.
But one's the older brother and then the younger brother, and he's the one that's.
So who are these Diaz brothers?
They're just UFC guys.
Okay.
They've been there since kind of like right before it got huge.
So and then So we've got these Tate brothers.
Yeah,
they're supposedly brothers.
They're
and
probably
then-
around that same time frame.
Okay, and then we've got now the other brothers, the younger that he's talking shit about the whole time.
Yeah, the Paul brothers.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
But really, he's talking most of the shit about Logan specifically. The
Right.
older
Yeah,
one.
he was talking a lot of shit about Logan.
And he was basically saying like he was almost like he was drawing a line between Logan and Jake, a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like we'll see how this all plays out.
But he would love to fight Jake in a super fight and make millions.
Yeah.
Everyone would.
But would Jake fight him?
So they're both entertaining it because right now this is the most popular person on the internet. So it's getting more possible by the day.
I wonder, with the attention spans that we all have right now, how long it's going to take for everybody to forget about Andrew Tate.
Yeah, so I think that's what, time will tell. At this point, we don't hear about it, but everyone's talking about it, right? Yeah. I think a lot of this is going on, but we don't hear about it on the TV.
Yeah.
Or you don't hear about it from like the main sources.
Right.
But I think
I mean, I would not have known shit about it.
Well, how many views does this video have?
5.5 million.
In how many days?
7.
Okay. That's pretty significant.
That's pretty significant.
And that's probably a lot of outside of the United States.
Oh, well, yeah. This is Patrick Bet David. So this is.
And that's just
he only
him.
has 344,000
Yeah.
subscribers.
This is all Tate.
That's
all
all
viewership. Look at any other of his videos. I bet he probably doesn't get 1 million regularly. He has a popular
118,
podcast.
64, 126.
Yeah.
Significant difference, right?
And I'm sure Tate's final message, where he kind of did something similar to this, which was a long form, just like, this is what I'm about. Because even me, I hadn't really saw him long form before. I'd only saw, shorter clips.
So what's crazy is Andrew Tate cherry picked this guy, and you would expect now his viewership to skyrocket.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
So he goes from 146 to 5.5 million down to 126, 64, 118. Does that tell me slight shadow ban? Or, okay,
Well,
how do you get 5.5 million, organic views?
Yeah. It's because the younger people, we're grown. You got to think, if you're in your teens or early 20s and follow this kind of shit, this is what you're into, So someone that you follow is all of a sudden wiped off. People want to know, like, what the fuck?
Yeah, but
Where'd
don't
they
you
go?
just do like I just did and subscribe to the fucking guy? 5.5 million people.
Maybe, but these
clicked
dudes
on
don't
this
care
link.
about this dude. They just wanted to see the Tate, what he had to say.
Yeah.
And,
And I wonder, now you can see like the things, look, nobody really watched this.
Oh, you can see like
where like all the action was, like what people like rewound and rewatched and shit like that.
Yeah. Yeah, well, shit, 5 hours.
Shit. I still have an hour and 52 minutes. I'm almost there. I'll have to rewind some because I'll have to refresh my memory.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy. It's just crazy that you can be wiped off the internet in one day, and then they want to try to make it seem like there's not, some collaboration there. Like it's not a flip of a switch, where it's just you could be hit from. He was saying like Uber, he couldn't even use his Uber app.
Well, and it's simultaneous, and it was everything you could name, all of the things you could name.
And if it can happen to a dude like
Airbnb,
that,
he said Airbnb.
Yeah.
Airbnb
Yeah.
and bank accounts.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're you can't go and Airbnb anything and your Twitter and your bank account and like
That's crazy.
Fuck.
I mean, assuming it's all true, you know.
Right. Assuming it's all true. And I mean, he strikes me as a very straightforward guy. This would be one hell of a conspiracy to come out and be like, "Oh, Andrew Tate was
open
faking
forum and
the
just
whole
basically
thing."
speaking freely for
how
5
hard,
hours.
Yeah, how hard would it be for someone to say, "No, this isn't necessarily what's accurate"?
Yeah, it'd already be out.
How does he have more power than Trump? Is it worldwide? Is he more famous probably worldwide?
Yeah, it's because he doesn't live in the United States, and he was on the UK Big Brother. So it's just recent.
So his money isn't American money. He said he's worth hundreds of millions. It's global money then.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna have to do some more digging up on him because he could be a good somebody to look up to for sure, right? Like even guys our age that are his age should be like figuring out what he's doing. And
well, especially when it's kind of like it's not cool to be a tough guy, and not in like that stereotypical. Just to be a tough man, tough kid is almost being like frowned upon now. It's like be emotional.
There's a time and place. Okay, so whatever happened to the days when there's a time and place, it's okay to even have the yin and yang within yourself. You have no idea how nice it is to be able to embrace my inner emotional side sometimes and relate to the female people.
The female people.
The female people. You know, like, I'm not, and that doesn't make me gay or bi or on any part of the spectrum. It's the fact that I have.
No, you got to pick one.
Some right? But can you not just have an emotional moment?
Apparently not. I mean, I'm not a super emotional guy, personally, so I can't relate 100% there.
Yeah, I'm
as far as talking about your feelings and shit like that. Like,
yeah, but you know what? Feelings get you somewhere.
Yeah.
Feelings get you.
Yeah.
Get you somewhere.
I like how my penis feels. Feels good. Feels good. Oh, what do we got over here?
These Jeters. These are store Jeters, so they're not knockoffs.
Yeah. I made a stink just about, in general, not wanting even mediocre stuff. And, I'm not really disappointed with anything.
You know what this tastes like? And this is what this tastes like. This tastes like that couple years ago when we got those pizza boxes full of shatter packs. And then we were like, man, let's put some tangy terps on that shatter.
It does kind of taste like that. We dripped it on there.
And we brushed a bunch of fucking tangy terps with the silicone brush all over like a fucking
we thought other
quarter
people
pound.
might be doing that since they had tasty stuff.
Tasty, yeah. It's like, why does the shatter taste like tangy?
Yeah, that's
because
right.
They probably were terping it.
Right.
But that's exactly what this one to me tastes like. It tastes like that shatter tangy terp. Yeah, this one's different. This one's mild.
Yeah, I like this one better. I feel like that one has more of that rosin pen taste.
But they both have there's
They
that
still
similar
have that same-
undertone.
yes.
Something.
But they're just kind of.
But I don't want to hate because they're smokable.
I didn't figure, I knew we weren't it wasn't going to be our favorite pen, but.
So is that what my live resin pens are supposed to look like?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. When I found one under the couch when I was digging for some other shit, I'm like, oh, there's my battery. And then I had to give it up so I could steal the other Jeter. I was like, here.
It doesn't move at all.
No, it's pretty thick. I mean, it does slowly, but.
That's what that 0.5 gram cart does, is the surface tension keeps it from moving.
Keeps it from moving.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't know if you noticed with the 2 gram carts, but the 2 gram carts, when you like flip it upside down, it'll like whoop, like
Oh,
right
no,
away.
I didn't notice.
Yeah,
Because there's so much space.
because it's just so there's so much room and cavity.
Gotcha. Oh shit.
Yep, I think it's getting that time.
Yeah.
Wrap it up. We didn't talk about. We talked about some interesting stuff, not too risque today. I don't know if we offended a bunch of people.
Oh, I'm sure we did. If we didn't, we'll be here again next week.
Yeah. Hopefully our viewership's growing and shrinking at the same time.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, if you don't want to be here, don't come.
You know where the door's at.
Yeah. And if you like it, or you just like to hate it, you know, why do you still, be here? But if you don't want to be here, don't be here.
Nah, you know what? Fuck that. If you don't want to be here anyways. Talk shit. Because I'm sure there's something we said that you might have liked. And we can have a back and forth and be positive about it.
Admit to yourself that when you hear some truth.
And let's figure out what it's going to take to get Chad to shave his beard.
Oh, no.
That's on the table. We're starting now.
Oh,
That's on the table. We're going to figure it out. I'll grow a beard. He'll shave a beard.
This is like cutting a toddler off. It should be illegal. We'll see.
Well,
all right.
Pistol, you did your namesake well.
Yeah, I know, right? Now I got to go home. My kid's going to be awake, and he's going to be like, what's for dinner?
Yeah.
Like, you already ate 4 pizzas? Maybe I'll go buy Del Taco on the way home.
Yum.
Chicken sauce never to disappoint.
I have tri-tip in the fridge.
Oh,
cold tri-tip's really yummy. Now I'm hungry.
Yeah. It's better the second time.
All right. Well, we still haven't figured a way to bring this out or bring it in. But to our people that are listening, ideas for content, questions.
Yeah.
Any rebuttals? If you want to fact check us, that's awesome too, because we're not currently fact checking while we're doing anything.
Yeah. We don't have a young Jamie yet. So
we're currently taking resumes.
Yeah. Yeah.
With casting couches in the other office.
Yes.
Fuck, it's been a great night. I think we're going to do this again on Friday.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to it.
And
we'll have to come out with like a cool song or
we need something.
Our designer buddy Scott, he's in a band.
That's true. They could come up with and they've got like it's a reggae tone is what they do. So
it could be something just
I like that. I don't know if that's necessarily our.
Maybe not.
I feel like we need something like super heavy metal.
Super heavy. We'll have to listen to some stuff.
What are the fighter guys? I feel like the fighter guys are on our wavelength right now. Like everything they're saying, we're kind of saying. Or what we're saying,
I'm going to start looking into more of them too, because I don't really follow the fighters that much. But that Patty the Batty was kind of all over YouTube.
Yeah.
So I think I just came across him.
Yeah, I'm going to check him out. Make sure to check out Thug Nasty.
Yeah, I will. He looked pretty interesting. And he looked like he's into it.
Yeah.
The details.
He's one to definitely look into. I feel like he's probably been banned. If he's talking shit to Zuckerberg, then he's had issues.
Yeah, for sure.
Rogan, the last fight I watched, Rogan's looking good. I think he's going to fight soon, isn't he?
Really?
He looks like he's trying to get to some sort of fighting shape.
He's always in good shape.
Yeah, I'd love to see him fight.
I don't know. I would love to see him fight.
Well, brother, good night.
All right, man.
Thank you.
Yep.
Yes.
It was good.
It was good.
Now I'm hungry.